All right, welcome to your Friday night Transformers show. We've got loads coming up tonight, plus the world exclusive-ish review of Transformers 1's coming from Jamie and Andy. We got some clips on that. We've got also it's the Marvel 40th anniversary of the comic, so we're going to go through our favorite characters ever from the comic, plus our memories of it and our favorite stories lines as well. We've got pickups, news, reviews, and a whole lot more. So join us tonight. Let's do that intro.
There's a magical place, we're on our way there, with toys in the millions all under one roof. It's called Toys R Us. Soon after bedtime, when dark nighttime falls, Jeffrey and helpers stock up all the shelves. From ceiling to floor, books, board games and bikes, teddies, puppets and dolls, beds, spaceships and trikes. There's millions, says Jeffrey, all under one roof. It's called Toys R Us, Toys R Us, Toys R Us.
Yes, as young Robert Cops pointed out, Spider Father is in the house. Thank you for joining us tonight on your Friday. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. Did you have plans originally before we scoped you in?
Kind of, but I said you can go dogging any night, so spend it with friends again.
Yeah. This is kind of like dogging, just much more sexual. Much more sexual. Right, cool. So loads coming out. So I'm really for the Transformers 1 review. We're going to do that after the news. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Whatever you say, Captain.
Right. I am right. So we'll do the news and we'll go straight into that Transformers 1 review. Spoiler free. Spoiler free. Time for the news.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
Right. Okay. These are photos from Notrab, who we've featured many, many times in the show. And this is Dinah King from Legacy United. This is the multi-purpose.
You're breaking up, Andy.
Oh, hear me better now?
Yeah, we can. But did you just stop speaking and then speak again?
No. It was fine. It might be the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's around here is shit.
You're crystal clear now.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think this is a Pulse exclusive, isn't it?
Yes.
This hasn't appeared on anywhere else yet.
No.
So yeah, this is the core class Dinobots redone as Dino King. So lots of people excited about this.
Although I bet someone still does an upgrade kit to replace all the new bits.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course they will, because it won't quite be right. So there will have to be an upgrade kit. I would imagine very quickly.
Well, looks good.
Yeah, it looks all right. I can't help but look at it and just think it's mostly the Dinobots, but you know, I suppose for people who want a Dino King, haven't had one, they'll be excited about this. Who's pre-ordered it?
I have.
I have. Just the one copy, boy. Just the one.
Just the one? Come on, that's not like you, Jamie. Maybe you've been unwell. Right, anyway, Here they are. Here's the individual team members. And you can see as you look at the photos that they have made a few changes to them from the actual.
I do like the deco changes they've made in Dino mode. They do all still have the same Dinobot heads, I think. Apart from these two. These two look new.
In robot mode, haven't they changed a couple of them?
Yeah, those two look new.
And then
It's the same.
Yeah. And that didn't that look more like Grimlock's head on the slag mold? And, yeah. But they're cool.
That looks a lot better.
Cool little things.
Yeah, they just look awesome fun, don't they?
Have they sold out yet? Usually these things sell out really quickly.
No, they haven't. I honestly thought they would have, but they've not.
Yeah, I would buy it again if they did Monstructor.
Yeah, you see Monstructor, yeah. I enjoy a bit of Monstructor from G1, so.
I think anyway, it might even just be the same size as the original Monstructor. He's not very big.
No, he was tiny. So we had that. Then we got from Mark Lonis, Mark Mayer of the Hasbro design team. All praise be to Mark. Some photos of the G2 breakdown. All praise be. I love the colours on this. Absolutely love it. I realise it's just the breakdown that we already had before, although the head's different, isn't it? I think we've got a more toy style head.
I think the toy head you got in the collector's set. The box that Hasbro last year.
There you go.
Yeah, because it came with 2 heads. So one of those is the retail version, one's the collector's edition set, but they've used the head that the original one came with.
And yeah, just looks really cool. Just love those colours. So this one I pre-ordered because I do like a bit of breakdown.
How much longer are we going to have to wait for the other 2 figures? Yeah, it's
just
2
a couple of
figures.
years.
Well, they'll be on the way though. We'll get them by 2028.
Young people like ourselves, that's okay.
It's not like we have to worry about the age catching up with us.
Like,
and there's that head sculpt with those pouty lips. Lovely. And then a bit of blockies love. Let's have a blockies section. We should have this every single week because they're awesome. So we've had several reveals of different blockies figures, particularly around Transformers 1.
I've always liked blockies. I just want to say that.
I'm assuming this is not a good time to say how you've referred to it in the past, but no, we'll move on from that.
I mean, Shozi's got this set up for pre-order, and they're asking full price, so they are due imminently in stock. So,
I think they've said. I think Blackie's official said September or October for when this was coming out. This new wave. I think it's wave 5, isn't it? Yeah, they're nice. They're not, and blockies, you know. Say what you want about them.
New Wave 5. I think the New Wave 5 is definitely a big step up. Oh God!
You absolute shill. Anyway, Wheeljack.
You've seen how many people are getting free blockies and he's trying to jump on the bandwagon.
I'm not making any comment. Jamie has always loved blockies. No, I'm joking. We all love blockies. They are great.
What's the script?
If you haven't experienced them, they are really good fun. I've got some of on my display behind me there. They're just really fun.
I must admit, I've gone for the more advanced blockies for the higher age group.
These ones.
All right then. Instead of ages 5 and up, ages 6 and up.
Flex.
Is that like being a TikTok record?
This is my mental.
I go for the more refined blockies.
Yes.
Anyway, there's a Elita one. And some more pics of Sentinel there. And I think is that the whole wave? That is the whole of the wave, isn't it, in that picture?
Yeah. I mean, I passed on the G1 ones, but I will pick these ones up. Because I don't think we're going to get toys of most of those characters.
Yeah. I mean, they're really fun little things. And they are cool. And what's really weird about them is the build quality on them is often better than the actual proper figures that you get. It's just amazing that you click these things together and they feel just better than if you like the aesthetic, if you can get your head around it, if you see them as a bit of fun,
the Galaxy aesthetic is obviously younger, but the classic aesthetic is it's like moving towards much more what maybe we see on the screen.
Yeah, well, they are coming out anyway. I think there might be some more pics again of the rest of the wave. But anyway, Studio Series Transformers 1 Megatron, which some people got as part of those boxes that Hasbro sent out to reviewers and people like that. A lot of people got, but apparently he's not due in stores till like November. I don't know if that's the same for everywhere, but
his cannon's too small.
Yeah,
legs. Look at them gams.
Legs too big.
He's got.
Yeah. He's like Earthrise Prime legs.
He's got legs and he knows how to use them. It's just, yeah.
I don't know. I just looks like a Farmer Megatron to me. Farmer Megatron. I don't know. They should have just given him a pitchfork.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. His gun does seem a bit small.
Definitely, the fusion cannon's not big enough on there. But it's weird. I find it weird that they're deluxe. Why are they deluxe size? Why don't we? They're the leaders. Surely they should be Voyagers.
Well, we can't say because it'd be a spoiler. So I would suggest.
I mean, we could say they're the leaders because we know that they're going to become the leaders at some point.
Yeah, there's going to be a leader class. There's going to be a leader class. It's like Hasbro. We know what Hasbro up to.
We'll get a Voyager class, then they'll do a leader class, then we'll get a commander class, all of the same characters. Because that's how Hasbro roll. but a lot of people who I've seen reviewing this have said it's a decent figure. So if you are after it, if you've got the Optimus Prime,
I mean, there aren't that many Transformer 1 Megatron toys coming out who turn into that tank.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the toys that are coming out are just repaints of Cyberverse toys or something else.
that's true.
Worth
We've got,
getting just for that.
there's a lot of those.
But is
that are
that a
knocking about.
positive? Because there's not that many. I don't know.
I think it's a really sexy tank, nice and sleek.
I don't know. Does it look sleek to me?
Anyway, we'll move on slightly. So this was shared
Visible
by
leg.
Riot Control on Twitter. So this is Missing Link versus the legacy version of Optimus Prime. So again, just some comparison photos so you get an idea of the size of the thing you're getting if you're buying that Legacy Deluxe G1 Prime. And it is significantly smaller.
I'm drinking a Pinot Grigio. Borders dude who's just asking what I was drinking tonight. Pinot Grigio, and I'll probably finish it off with a White Lightning Chaser.
And a Bailey's?
Lady boys.
Oh, lady boys. Anyway, I don't get why it's so small. It's not that it's bad. It's just small.
It's better to see it in scale next to another Chug figure, really.
Maybe, yeah.
That's
Although
what it's supposed to be on the shelf with. I know you get your hardcore Optimus Prime collectors who have all their Optimus Primes on the shelves. But yeah, I want to see it next to a Chug figure.
we shall
I mean,
find.
I'll buy it
some
anyway.
photos.
I don't care.
Oh, no, that could.
It's just for other people, I suppose.
He's already buying it. Fine, we don't need to look at that. And then there's some of the accessories, so you can compare the size of those. And then that takes us on to more of the Studio Series reveals that we got. So that's the Bumblebee from Transformers 1, which is revealed by a few
I'm
reviewers.
starting to like this now. At first I didn't, and now
This is why they have long pre-order periods, Jamie.
I
Give you
don't
change
know
your
if I've been
mind.
drugged in secret or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you like blockies now.
you mean he's
show you-
always liked blockies?
Show him a picture of a GoBot and see if he can keep his food down. No, you've changed.
Anyway, there's a liter one
He's
as
got a
well.
GoBot.
I
How do you
pre-ordered
feel about
that.
that? That's
I
quite a good
pre-ordered
GoBot.
that.
He's ignoring the GoBot and concentrating on the liter one. And there's Sentinel Prime.
And I pre-ordered that, and I don't know why. I just,
Yeah.
I feel like I
Because he
needed
does the
to.
thing, Jamie. The thing we can't talk about. He does the thing.
He does a
Yeah.
thing, which cannot be discussed, but he does a thing. And there you go. And he turns into a jet.
I just want to put it in my mouth. I think it's the colours.
It looks like Dirge.
It's like
Does look
CJ
like
face jet mode. It's not good.
Anyway, you can pre-order all three of those now, and then we have these. So this is the it was revealed on the Walmart live stream, the 3.0 MDLX G1 Vintage Animation line. So G1 Optimus, Bumblebee, and Megatron will get a new retro-inspired paint. I'm not, maybe I'm not observant enough. I don't really notice the difference, personally. But
Weren't these already announced ages ago?
Yeah.
Are they just trying to keep them in the news?
Yeah.
And the thing was, it used to be rare we were getting non-transforming robots unless they were completely pish. And now we're getting high standard non-transforming Transformers, which is from a variety of different places.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're very in vogue at the moment, the non-transforming stuff, and it's a lot cheaper. I think that's helped. And it looks good, some of it. Most of
Yeah.
it. Some
Like
of it,
Yodel.
some of it.
Not Yodel.
Yodel. No, not Yodel.
Yeah, Yodel Park.
Unless you're delivering something for me, Yodel, in which case I really like you. Please don't lose my package. Right. This is a picture, and it's a picture of Optimus Prime, and it's because the official Minecraft Twitter account, Twitter account, have shared a new image of an upcoming collaboration. The image simply features G1 Optimus Prime. There's no information at all at the moment about what this might involve, whether it's going to be DLC packs, add-ons, whatever. So if you're a Minecraft fan and you like Transformers and you'd like something, whatever this is, then keep an eye out, and I'm sure we'll have more news as time goes by. And then that takes us on to some kind of reveals. So on TFW 2005, Powered Convoy provided some information about some Super 7 Reaction Transformers listings. So you can just about see them there. There's a Devastator that's coming. But the one that caught people's eyes was there's an Arc playset, which obviously that's all we've got at the moment. So we don't know any particular details about it. But yeah, we're going to get an Arc playset as part of the Super 7 reaction figures. So we shall wait and see. It might be something useful for photographers, perhaps, for their dioramas, but maybe not.
Be interested to see how big it is.
Yeah.
Because maybe it could be used for Micromasters. If you want to have a Micromaster City. If it's that big. Because reaction figures aren't huge.
No.
It's certainly smaller than your regular G1 size toys.
JT Prime 17, who obviously gets a lot of this information and shares it with us, he also pointed out that there's some more figures going to be coming in Wave 8. And apparently it'll be a red version of Rumble. Just seems wrong. Ghost of Starscream, a metallic Grimlock, a G1 prototype RC, and Optimus Prime Nucleon Quest Special Mission.
That'll be black.
Yeah.
With blue windows.
So we'll keep an eye out for them.
I think the RC one will be popular.
Yeah, I'd get the RC one. Because if they're going to do a Missing Link RC, there's two repaints that spring to mind. You've got your Paradron Medic, and possibly those prototype colours.
Yeah, definitely. Simon Furman shared this. He, along with other people, have contributed behind this Kickstarter for the Transformers 40th Anniversary Limited Edition trading cards, which I didn't think was going to be a Kickstarter when this was first announced, but now apparently it is.
I saw listings at work from distributors saying that they were going to carry it.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter for the set can be found on that link at kickstarter.com. If you are wanting to just go and buy the whole lot up in one go, why the hell not?
I'm going to do that. I'm going to be in for them. I'm going to buy all
and then, because I know how much Jamie loves blockies, we've got more blockies news here. So more of the pictures from Galaxy version Wave 5. And they do look really nice. I really wish they'd shared these photos before I downloaded all the other flipping ones. But still, they do look really nice. So thank you, blockies.
An army building. We all like good army building.
Yeah. Oh, it really is, though. You're going to have to. And the photos do make them look really cool. And they're fun. Again, if you're on the fence about these, at least try one, see what you think of it.
And they can fully compatible with stickle bricks.
Oh, I love stickle bricks.
If you got a hammer, anything's compatible with stickle bricks.
Yeah, life is compatible with stickle bricks.
See, they've got the cannon size right as well. If you look at it, I think the proportion of the cannon just looks better.
Yeah, that's the classic class Megatron one. So that looks better, a little bit better than the normal one. But anyway, there you go. So lots of blockies. Then we had this from YOLO Park, isn't it? So YOLO Park have shared in-hand images of the figures that we saw leaked at one of the shows. I think it was in Hong Kong. These are the easy-to-build AMK series Transformers 1 cogless figures. So we have had a little bit of a look at some of these, so I won't spend a long time on them. But
I think they look really good. I was really into them, even when I first saw them.
It's a great tactic, isn't it? To like these companies like just going like, how can we save money or make more money? Could we get the people at the home to build it themselves, and we'll just send them the parts? And then YOLO Park were like, yeah, and then blockies were like, should we do it now? Like, we'll just send them the bits, and they have to put it together, and then we don't have to. We cut our labour costs down.
Exactly. How much money are they saving?
Discovered the secret of Gunpla.
These are about 12.5 to 15 centimeters tall, apparently. And I have the listing here from the prices from the YOLO Park website, which is again $14.99 for the cogless figures, $29.99 US dollars, that is, or dollars, I should say, for the cog character. Apparently, if you spend $99.99 or more, you get a Transformers 1 cogless mode acrylic standee set, which is Orion Pax B127 Elite 1 and D16. And they come with a little backpack, a jetpack. There's reasons. I can't discuss why, but there's reasons.
I don't mind getting a non-transforming cogless because a cogless can't transform, so they're completely accurate action figures.
Exactly, 100% accurate, screen accurate and everything. And there you go. So there's the Megatron, or D16 as he is, I suppose, at that point. Don't know why they keep circling hands, just to point out, I suppose, that they can hold things. Yes. There's Bumblebee, sorry, B127. And he can do press-ups. Big whoop, we all can. And there's Elite 1. So, yeah. YOLO Park stuff seems very, very popular. I'm sure these will sell well. Some comparison shots there if you want to see them against some of the other YOLO Park stuff. There alongside the Legacy Armada.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Prime. So you get an idea of size. And that's Studio Series, Rodimus, isn't it? And, well, it's not Studio Series Netflix, but I suppose Legacy Netflix. Soundwave, rather. There you go. And that's all of the mainline news for today.
Cool. Well, don't worry. There's more news coming up with third-party news. And don't forget, after the third-party news, it's the real party where we review Transformers 1 spoiler free. Let's do the third-party news.
Battle Tank!
Battle this.
It's heavy metal cruncher time as Optimus Prime goes toe-to-toe with Combat Megatron. Prime is one tough dude underneath his hood. He's a Transformer missile flying phenomenon. Combat Megatron is combat armed. His mighty mega missiles are slamming. He can mad out more for use mega force, but Combat Optimus is still standing.
Boom. And then Jamie's gone. New Age S01 Romulus. So this is their Megatron to basically kind of go alongside your official Commander class Optimus Prime. That's
It's more like Earthrise.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
no,
lots of
this is
debate
the
on
thing.
this, wasn't it?
This is the
Lots
thing.
of debate.
It does look better alongside Earthrise Prime, but I'm guessing that's because they had Earthrise Prime to compare it to, so they built it to that scale rather than obviously the Commander class.
Yeah, I
that
think
hadn't
the
come out.
Commander thing came out after they'd probably finished the whole
Yeah.
design and everything.
Yeah, they're saying that it's probably going to be a little bit too small for the new Studio Series 86 Prime now.
It does look it. We'll see that in some of the photos as we go through.
I am
but
thinking
we
of
can't
getting this.
decide. Yeah, I am too. But we can't decide. This is one of the biggest third-party. This is going to be one of the most talked about New Age reveals ever. But I think we need to see a picture, don't we, when it finally comes out against Studio Series Prime.
The only thing I worry about is this is the first time it's kind of gone past the upgrade kits, isn't it? It's like third party actively making a figure now to fit in with your chug collectors. I guess you could kind of say Mastermind Creations was like that with its de facto chugs as well, but I just
we
wonder
don't get many third-party chug figures because everyone's more interested in making masterpiece scale.
Yeah.
So I hope it does well. It's a new mold. It's different from the regular New Age Megatron. And do you know what? I'm tempted to pick it up because it could just go in my collection with the Earthrise one, even if it properly to the Studio Series.
I'm tempted to pick up because I'm kind of hoping they'll go the third party route and give us thousands of fucking different colors, and we might get a sort of like Marvel accurate comic color Megatron, the Gladiator Megatron with the golden color,
Black helmet.
I mean, all that stuff, and that I think I'd be in seventh. I would be delighted.
Of all the companies to do that, Jamie, New Age will be the ones who release in every fucking connotation you could ever imagine of Megatron if they get away with it. The only thing I do worry about is if it is chug size, like Hasbro turn a little bit of a blind eye to some stuff. I just wonder, will this make them a little bit annoyed making the same scale?
I think they'll get away with it because it's the Gun Prime, and Hasbro can't apparently do that. So I think they'll get away with this one. I think if they did a Prime, then it might get on dodgier ground. But that's him alongside the Commander class Optimus Prime. If you want to see the size.
I mean, it's not a huge size difference, but it's noticeable if you're really looking at them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had Prime on his knees
no, I
and
see.
Megatron was standing over about to do the coup de grace, that would probably look really good.
Oh, love it. Let's get some wrestling references in here. We need more of those.
That's French.
Oh.
Yeah, I love the je ne sais quoi you bring to the show, Lee. It's a different class to what we
If you
normally
want
have. Thank you.
wrestling, that's my brother. He's well into his wrestling.
Oh, anyway, there he is with the Stunticons. The
He looks
main
good.
line.
He looks really good with them.
Does, and lots of people again very excited about this figure. including
I-
people who normally collect mainline.
I'm a New Age guy. I pick
I
up
mean,
New Age.
I've
And
got an
their figures
idea.
are top quality. So high hopes for this
yeah.
one.
Me too.
I've got an idea where you get the Takada Airfries Optimus Prime, which is almost in the same colours as the Commander class Optimus Prime, and use that for some photos. People probably might not notice.
Unless they've got eyes.
Unless they've got exceptional
have you seen our
eyesight. Jamie.
fandom? Have you seen our fandom? Only people like me with exceptional eyesight will notice.
Anyway,
it's cool to see so many people getting excited, like who don't normally collect New Age or third party, to be excited. Now, if it's anything like the New Age transformation, it wasn't too bad. There's something about turning a robot into a gun, specifically Megatron, that is insanely satisfying. Love all those transformations, but it's not an awful transformation. It would be a lot harder than, I guess, what you boys are used to with your basic Fisher Price transformations on Chug.
Fisher Price. Anyway, there's the there's the submarine mode. So there we go. We're fine.
Why is it upside down?
I don't know. It's strange. Submarines. Anyway, we'll move on to Collection Space CS03 Star Queen, which is a female Starscream.
Who looks at Starscream and thinks it's not quite fuckable enough? I just want to make a couple of changes.
These guys.
But there are a lot of people who do think that Starscream is quite fuckable enough. If you know,
there's
some people that even that's not enough.
Certainly takes away from the wall test I was planning on doing.
That's a different kind of wall test. There's a lot of people who seem to
is broken.
seem to have a lot of time for Starscream and a lot of fan
nice.
fiction, I believe.
Lush alt mode though.
Yeah, the jet mode is
As
pretty
well.
cool.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
For this.
Yes, it does appear to have butt cheeks because if there's one thing a
How
Transformer
many
needs.
engineering compromises had to be made to get them rounded butt cheeks? Is that why it hasn't got any stabilizers for its tail?
Sacrifices had to be made, Lee.
And they were justified.
And for those of you who like to get the tape measure out, there you go. 190 millimeters is your height. I'm sure you can all do the math and work that out into centimeters. So I'll give you a minute. And there it is. Yeah. And it comes with a detachable backpack, which seems to have a few options. And different hands, different faces. Yeah, it's very much your third-party fare. And weaponry, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, a flight stand with a little bit to store your extra bits in, which I thought was quite
At least
cool.
that's a lot bit more tasteful, not a swing or something like that.
Somebody get on that. Right, what do we have next? So this...
You guys are listening to this and went, I knew we should have did it.
Yeah, somebody's getting really irate. I told you! Anyway, this is 3D printed. So this was Lance Chen on Facebook who shared this. And this is a 3D printed G1 style Scorponok in, I presume, legend scale, given the look of it, the size of it. Very teeny and tiny. But apparently... my information tells me that if you want to buy this, it will be $220 for something that, as you can see, with the classic turtles in the background, is probably not much taller than they are. So it's a no from me. It's a thanks. It does look very good. I will give full credit for how good it looks. I mean, the detail inside.
But at least painted by the time it's 220 quid.
It just, 220, dollars, I suppose, but still $220.
To be fair, if it's Warhammer, it'd be like, oh, they're so cheap. $220.
Get it bought. But there's the little Zarak and there's the little Fast Track, and but I have the G1 one, so I think I'll be okay for that.
Yeah, I've got the G1.
So there was that, and then now, not sure which company this might have been. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest it might be Doctor Wu, by the way that it said Doctor Wu over there and Doctor Wu down there. Although it does say Mechanic there, but from what we understand, this is Doctor Wu. And it's little. It does look very Doctor Wu, doesn't it?
Why did they choose that name? Is that something to do with Transformers, Doctor Wu?
I have no idea. I just thought it's because it's catchy to sing. Doctor Wu, calling Doctor Wu. But that's just me. Anyway, it's there. I Does Doctor Who stuff actually? Does anybody actually buy any of this stuff? Because we seem to see a lot of Doctor Who stuff. But
I got my first Doctor Who figures this week because I thought I'd get some just to see what they're like because they're MicroMaster scaled.
Yes, they're very small.
They're specifically for you to include with your MicroMaster bases, your Metroplexes, your G1 Metroplexes, and all those sort of things. And damn it, they're really nice. So I've already pre-ordered a bunch.
Well, apparently this will be 7 centimeters tall for those who are interested in how tall it's going to be. So there you go, 7 centimeters. And yes, the listing that it was on did say it was Doctor Who. And then we have this, which is, it's simply listed as QQT. And I don't know if that's the name of the company, but this is a Jetfire and Overload kit for your Legacy Armada Prime, so that you can load him up as a bit like Fans Hobby are doing with their Overload and their Jetfire, which you can join up with him. So yeah, I mean, I actually quite like how that looks, but I'd be interested to know how much this kit's actually going to cost.
Oh, it's quite extensive.
Yeah,
Hasbro said they're going to get round to it eventually, so it's just how impatient you are for a newer version of a toy you could already buy.
I just really like. I would have to get a second Armada Prime just to have them like that. I couldn't do it.
Oh, rats having to buy a second one. Because that never happens, Jamie. Anyway, it looks quite good. There was a lot of people commenting about how, like, some third-party people saying they thought it actually looked better in execution than the Fans Hobby one did. But I suppose it's a matter of opinion what you go for. The Fans Hobby one is very impressive when you see all the engineering that went into it.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised at how good the Armada Chug Optimus Prime was. It's just blew me away.
It's an absolutely fantastic figure. I mean, I think even Arrowfire, he commented that was his preferred one, preferred version of it. And that's kind of
stuff's really nice. It's just way too big.
Yeah. But speaking of Fans Hobby,
so it can't be too big then, but yeah.
Coloured version of their fleet model, their tidal wave, basically. So some imprints and spray paints to be refined, according to Fans Hobby. So just in the Dark Fleet mode, but the colours are all right. I still think the Hasbro one does it well enough, but some people will want this version. Ooh. I think we established.
I like that ramjet. That's very nice.
Yeah, we established that. I think that they might be coming with these little minicons as well, which does give it that little bit of an edge.
Who's that other one?
I'm not sure.
Starscream is an F-15.
It does, yeah. It's definitely an F-15.
Is that kind of accurate for an aircraft carrier? Aren't the where the planes come off and off more of an angle, not linear?
That one's at an angle, and that one's.
It looks so much like the MicroMaster. You turn upside down.
Flat top. Yeah. Well, it's a cool little thing. And speaking of cool little things, this is a preview of LaserCat Toys JGM SK P01 Mini Ferocity, which is their Predaking. This came via Fox Racing of TFW 2005. So a little Predaking. Again, Arrowfire will be excited.
Was it just like that?
I don't like them. I have to not like something.
I don't like these.
You can't not like Lockies.
I am going to change my mind.
We showed at the start of the
show. Is that a little dive bomb as well? I mean, that's
cool.
Cute. Look at his little face. Come on.
I look scary. Like it's a little gargoyle.
Now I like it. Now I like it.
I mean, that's cool.
That's
and then we've got a little razor claw, haven't we?
That's pretty unique. That's quite cool.
Teeth.
Small. Anyway.
Did they transform?
That's it.
Did they actually transform?
That's an excellent question, and when I have an answer for you, I'll let you know.
Oh, it looks like it.
It did look like there was some engineering in there, so I'd like to think they do. But they're just
the little beast modes are cool. I think you can never say no to beast modes.
You can't.
It's a Predaking, so you know.
So, onto the main event. So, Andy and Jamie have seen Transformers 1. Spider Father, have you?
Yes, Spider Father has as well.
So they've been reviewing it, writing up their notes, no doubt. We're going to go into that review now. There is no spoilers, so I promise we won't spoil anything. We will do a few cutscenes and stuff, but it's all stuff which has already been shown before, plus some interview with some of the guests. We'll start off with that Transformers 1, the final trailer they released a week ago to remind you what it is, and then we'll go straight into that review.
Where's Optimus Prime?
The filthy red and blue bot? Yeah. Gives off a corroded metallic stench.
Okay, corroded, that is too far.
Okay.
When two worlds about to get hard to survive. Transforming bats in the sky.
You have the power to make your world better. But this fight is mine.
Standing on being ready for revenge. It's the sweetest victory, that's the win.
Okay, so he's a little intense.
Yeah, just a little.
Now is the time to stand together.
No, it's time to fight back.
Please don't do this.
You need to move out of my way before I move you myself.
I done made it through the work. 10 toes down, never check me in the dirt. Supercharged and it don't click. Feel like us against the world, we gon' take the risk.
All that counts is the strength of one bot over another.
He's too strong.
Look me in my eyes and tell me what I'm supposed to be. I never want another anybody chose me.
Until next time, legends.
Transformers transforming bots in the sky. We won't stand for defeat.
So, it's too emotional. So it's released on September 20th in America, and I think it's October the 11th in the UK. So they did have preview screenings and a live stream last night, which I believe, Andy, you went to saw in the Newcastle area, and you saw some other Transformers fans there, which was cool.
In the Newcastle area, secret location.
Yeah.
No, it certainly wasn't the Odeon at the Metro Centre.
Yeah, Metro Centre is where Andy saw it. So yeah, I mean, the reviews have been so positive. I think after some dodgy films, and then kind of we had Rise of the Beast and the Bumblebee movie, which I thought were excellent. It feels like we're onto a bit of a home run now. We've got this one coming out. The reviews have been really strong. The Rotten Tomato score is high. It's been widely predicted it's going to have one of the biggest box office opening weekends for an animation film in history. So all the positives are there. Everyone I've spoken to has already told me how good it is. What were your guys' initial thoughts seeing it when you sat down for that first time? You got that first half an hour in. How did you find it? No spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm going to say this because it's basically a spoiler-free review. Is I took Mei Lin, who could be whose speciality is miserable at times. It's like a superpower. And it's like, and she does it so well, so you've got to applaud it. You know, I mean, she can go into a room and make it icy cold in seconds. You know, it's unbelievable.
Is this the review of Mei Lin or the film?
Yeah. And so I decided to cheer her up by taking her to Transformers 1 event, which was free, and to got to see it, and she absolutely loved the film. You know, and she's very argumentative in particular when it comes to certain films. She's not very keen in comedies as well. So for her to like it, you know, people might be worried it's just too comedic or something like that. It's not. I think it's got this wonderful balance as tested by Mei Lin Ang. You know, so it passed that test, and because it passed the test, I lived, and I like living and breathing, and so I was delighted as well, which gave me more euphoria, and I really enjoyed it because the one thing going into that movie, which I think a lot of people who have watched it, was when we saw the Transformer 1 toys getting released, it didn't really mean much to us. We didn't care because there was nothing to spark our imaginations. Once we saw the movie, those toys came to life, and that only happens when there's good writing and it's something your brain has something tangible to grasp onto. So I'm going to let the other people speak, but if I had to say one thing there is I was excited to get the toys because that's how good the movie was.
Great stuff. Spider-Father, how did you find it?
I really enjoyed it. It's a good film for Transformers fans because it's got a lot of Transformers lore in there from lots of places, but from comics, from cartoons, all sort of rolled up together like the Aligned continuity did to make a coherent background for any Transformers stories that spin off of this. There's loads of cameos, there's lots of names, there's lots of faces in the background that you'd pick out if you were a proper Transformers fan. But more important than that, it's a really accessible Transformers story for someone who's just not all that into Transformers, which is what the film needs to be if it's going to be successful. And it was a good story. It was a good film. The characters were really well written. The character arcs were a little bit rushed at times, and you could see where the beats were coming, but they weren't. It wasn't boring, and it was exciting. You were happy when you got there, and at the end of it, it felt really satisfying.
And did it make you want to buy toys? Can you get that? Was that from the cinema?
No. I had a big delivery last week of Transformers 1 stuff. A lot of it's tat, like that thing that is out of tat, but it's a really nice Elite 1. But yeah, I think if you've not seen it yet, go in there with an open mind. You just have a really good time because you will enjoy it. You will have a good time. I'm going to go see it again because a group of us are going up to London next month to go and see it in where we saw the preview, and everyone's really looking forward to seeing it. And they're going to bring their kids and their families along so they can watch it as well.
And if we just took the last sort of 3 films, Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast Wars, and this one, where does it stand? Where would you?
Oh, it would be the best one.
Top.
Best one.
Yeah.
Andy,
it's almost like the writers knew what they were doing.
Yeah, the writers really did their research. I mean, if you know Transformers, you watch that film where you see all the Easter eggs and the actual things they pulled out. And nice. You'd need to have done some research, or at least
and the animators did the research as well because there was so many mannerisms. Do you know how when you see Easter eggs, it's usually a sound or a voice or a line, but it was the mannerisms you were watching, and you're just thinking. The animator, everyone did the research in this thing.
Cool. Andy, initial thoughts? The first half an hour, you saw those. Was it packed full of kids or was it packed full of adults? The cinema.
It was mostly.
Did you sit on Gav's lap? Or did Gav sit on your lap?
Sadly, I couldn't sit on Gav's lap. No, he was with his lass.
Wife?
So
Damn it.
Yeah, I know, scandalous. But I took my lads with me, and Kobe in particular. He's not a Transformers fan, so. He went into it quite cynical about it, and he came out of it really having enjoyed it and saying it was a good film. Like people have already said, a good film for people who aren't maybe Transformers. The Baleen test, as we'll call it from now on. Just glad it doesn't involve a wall. But yeah, he came out having really enjoyed the whole experience and the film itself.
I'm the one who goes into
he
the
had
wall.
questions. He had questions about like kind of how the film ends up and what that might mean moving forwards and stuff like that. So it was nice to be able to have that conversation with him in the car on the way home because he's not really into Transformers. I don't know if my obsession with it has put him off or what it is, but he's not. So, but he said himself, a bit like the lads have said, so many Easter eggs, so many little things. There was bits that he does remember, and he picked things out and he'd spotted certain characters that he did know. And the other thing was probably because I went into it. And I had kind of been told by one or two others who'd seen it before that it was different. But that first trailer, I think, I don't want to say it was misleading, but the first trailer was very comedy heavy. And it made it seem like that was going to be the main focus of the film with comedy.
Skywalk said that.
Yeah.
Much more balanced than that. You know, it's funny when it can be funny, and it is very like laugh out loud funny at times. But it's serious when it needs to be serious as well. It knows, it reads the actual moments where it needs what the mood is, and it kind of sticks to that. It does go along a fair old whack, but it kind of has to because that's just the nature of the film. But honestly, I'd say if you're being completely objective, the first Transformers, the movie in 1986, obviously, for us, nostalgia-wise, it's just brilliant. But if you're actually saying which is the best Transformers film we've ever had all round, then you kind of objectively have to say it's this. It's that good.
No,
I mean,
no,
I'm going to
no,
go back
wait,
and
wait,
see
wait.
it again.
No, sorry, that's like a line in the sand. You just jumped into tundra, my
Right.
good friend.
Well, let's jump into
no,
another.
But of the live action,
How is it a
stuff,
line in
it's
the
definitely
sand?
the best. It's definitely the best. It's because I think that's a question we will have to look back in 20 years' time when we see the new young generation. Will they be able to quote every fucking line from that film? I think not, my good friend. Because
You don't know, because we'll have to wait for 20 years.
we were born in the darkness. We know what it was like in the 80s. So
Are you sure this isn't just the fact you can't stand anybody criticizing the
no, but
1986
I
film?
would say the thing about the first trailer for Transformers 1. If you've not watched the second trailer until we spoiled it for you, you watch the second trailer. The first trailer did not spoil anything for you. There was absolutely nothing in that first trailer which gave anything away. And I think that was exceptional for a film of that nature, because I think a lot of trailers, like Sony trailers, they seem to just give you the whole story by the time you get to the cinema.
I do find that. And the only thing with all the trailers and stuff which comes out, every single one seems to have a different bit. Like, I sometimes see trailers for a film, I'm like, that's not that interesting, because they only covered like 5 different scenes, whereas this looks jam-packed. Let's take another look at another section, and this is the train section. We'll have a quick look at that.
It's like British Rail, isn't it? British Rail.
It is. It looks safer. You guys have seen that. You know what that clip's all about. I have no idea, apart from there's like a big train. But we won't do spoilers, don't worry, in this. So we spoke about how it compares to other films and stuff. We spoke about how your kids reacted to it and how it was a bit funny in the first trailer, how it showed it to be a really comedic film. But the whole film's not like that. It's much better paced. But how was the comedy in it? Because the bits I saw were laugh out loud funny. Like the first trailer, I genuinely laughed out loud. Is there good moments like that? Good hearty, laughy moments?
I think the biggest surprise was Bumblebee didn't great because he's definitely the comedy character. The other characters we've got comedy. Elite One's comedy is quite dry, but it's very in the moment sort of wisecracks. But Bumblebee from the first trailer had the potential to just be really annoying and cringe, but he wasn't. It was actually really fun watching him do his stuff.
Yeah, I think that's down to the writing again and the talent of the actor, because I think they know when it starts to go into the cringe level, and I think the Bumblebee, when you watch the movie, is obviously a joke or a sleight of hand or a sleight of hand against the Bumblebee of the Bayverse, which is quite good. So yeah, so I think you're going to go in there and come out and really appreciate the Bumblebee character, and I think the Optimus Prime character as well is good. In fact, to be quite honest with you, I think everyone really like back of that, characters there we saw in the second trailer, they've like back of acting, they've all done it really well. The voice actors have really went in there, voice actors have really went in there and they've done their job. And it's not recognizable really to know who these stars are. Where I think in the old times when you sometimes had a big movie star coming in to do voice acting, that was just their voice. But this time they're playing their parts. I felt.
We're going to look at a clip in a second of the voice actors. How did Chris Hemsworth, who played Optimus Prime, how did he get on?
Yeah, he did really well. I mean, as Orion grows as a character and as he gets into that more Optimus Prime mode, you can hear his performance change. So he gets a little bit graver, he gets a little bit more serious. So he adapted to the story and the character changes really well. So he did some proper acting in it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I've been surprised at is that people might have read reviews online, or like especially IGN, and I swear I do not understand IGN. I think they went to see a different movie, and I don't understand. It's almost like they're taking something personal into this. Which
I looked at a lot of reviews from people who were just like movie reviewers who weren't specifically a fan of science fiction or of animated properties, and they were generally quite positive.
Yeah,
and more than one of them criticized the movie marketing for just marketing it as a child's movie, because they said this is a proper science fiction story. This is a science fiction movie. They should be marketing it to everyone, not just children.
That's our biggest concern, was that because they haven't marketed it well, people like Camille Lynn who enjoyed it might not go to see it because they don't think they would. And I think that's a travesty, because I think it should be marketed much better as a must-see movie for family.
I think word of mouth. I think word of mouth is going to do well for this.
Yeah.
Film.
You think Paramount? This is one of their Star Trek, one of their big IPs, isn't it? Transformers. To have this with the success they've had over the years, you would hope they can. I guess they're always wary of the DVD release or the re-release or whenever it comes out. But all the things have been saying, like see it in the cinema, go and see it in the cinema. You have to see it in the cinema. It needs to be seen on the big screen. In terms of the visual effects and the animation, did you go in and enjoy it and think, cool, this is something completely different, or was it just a normal animation compared to anything that we've seen recently?
There was one scene towards the end of the film which I shed a tear. It was so beautiful. It was so well done that I had a little man tear. And I wasn't ashamed afterwards. I was like, that was beautiful. That was really moving. And I don't know if you two know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, I can guess the scene, but I'm much harder than you, so it didn't fluster me at all. But I can see
Jamie actually got an erection.
You went the other way.
Yeah. I thought this is good. This is
much harder.
Now we're getting real.
The whole film is visually stunning, though. I mean, some of the scenes and things. It is, and the running time just flew by as well. It's amazing. It really was that good, and that's the thing, because you've always wanted it to come out of a Transformers film and say that was genuinely excellent.
Was it?
It finally kind of happens for the first time since 1986. It's almost, I almost came out of it in a bit of a shock at how good he was. And we outside afterwards with Dave Wallace from TFN was there, and Gav Burgess was there, and the Granger brothers were there, and we just all stood there, just kind of like, wow, just chatting about the favourite parts of the film and what could happen, in the future. It's just amazing.
It was totally sincere. There was no cynicism at all in that film.
Yeah. I was just surprised because I thought, when I went to see this, it'll be good in some bits. There might be some stuff I don't like. I'll put a brave face on and get ready to just, waffle over the good stuff and, not focus on the bad stuff. And I didn't need to do that. I was really surprised I could just say positive stuff.
I think that's what the Bay movies have done to us a little bit, though. And I know that they have their fans, but the fact of the matter is, I think most of Transformers fans, or a lot of Transformers fans, saw the faults with those movies, and you kind of been burned. So when you go into these Transformers movies, you go in expecting that there's going to be
shell shock,
disappointed.
Yeah, you're kind of expecting it, and maybe in a way that helps a bit. But the film itself is so strong. I was just really surprised by how good it was, even though so many people have said that, and so many members of the community have said how much they enjoyed it.
One thing I really liked about it was the tracking. You could see what was going on.
When they transformed, you could tell what they were doing.
And then he disappeared. But you can't see what Jamie's up to. It was the whole thing, everything.
I keep getting cut off.
And the battles, they were transforming in the battles. They were fighting as a robot, then they were transforming, fighting as a vehicle, transforming, back and forth, back and forth. You don't really get those with Bay movies.
Yeah. It made sense, didn't it? It actually made sense to the scene rather than we're doing it for the sake of doing it, which is what you sometimes.
But it was good to see what was going on, though. You could actually see with clarity what was going on. And that's what I enjoyed. Where sometimes with the Bayverse movies, or latest interpretations, even some animations, even now, with the modern animations, that sometimes the things are going so fast, you're just thinking, well, what's going on? And I think a good example of where they've managed to control the animation is the Blue-Eyed Samurai in Netflix. If you watch that, you watch you fighting in that fast, but it's very fluid. You know what you're going on. You can see, or like the Spider-Man verse, which is a completely different animation style. Again, you can see what's going on. In fact, they do aids to help you to track what's going on. And I think that's what I liked about the animation. The little tricks they put in, like they'll put in an extra scene just so you can see what's going on where they didn't need to.
Right, should we have a look? Should we have a quick look at some of the actors and voice actors and their comments on the show? Here we go.
Something's coming. Something we've never seen before.
What intrigued me was the origin story. And to be voicing Optimus Prime, this is another level. He begins as Orion Pax, as a worker in the mines. This is his journey to becoming the all-powerful, all-knowing Optimus Prime.
the pantheon that is Transformers. We want to see where they started.
Sounds incredible.
We want to see what Cybertron looked like.
It's beautiful.
And how D16 became one of the greatest arch nemesis of all time.
It really is about a friendship where the two of them become enemies. This film has an incredible cast. There's Scarlett Johansson as Alita.
It does have a nice ring to it.
Scarlett brings Scarlett to the role.
She is strong. She's tough.
Brian Tyree Henry as D16.
We get to see the absolute beginning of Optimus and Megatron.
If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you!
I accept those
The
terms.
fact that they were actually best friends.
Keegan Michael Key plays B,
Yes!
also known as
Badassatron.
Over the last few movies, he's almost like a silent movie star.
Oh, thank you.
But now we get to imbue him through his voice.
I need wheels!
Lawrence Fishburne plays Alpha Trion.
I see strength in you.
John Hamm is Sentinel Prime.
I think we all deserve a little fun.
Steve Buscemi is Starscream.
Look, that's Starscream.
Silence!
We get to see all these characters be elevated in a completely different way than we've seen them before.
Which was a lot of fun.
Holy Primus. That was awesome.
Every time I see Chris Hemsworth, I keep thinking he's like my brother. You know, it's like twins. But yeah, same hair color.
Lean into his Australian accent, like you lean into your Scottish accent, and just be like, "Good day,
Yeah.
gone. How's it going, you Scotswazzer?" So, from those voice actors, I thought that got me even more excited for the film. I haven't seen that snippet at all, but that plethora of people doing the voices was amazing. The guy who done Bumblebee as well, I've forgotten his name, but I've seen so many of his clips on YouTube Shorts from his comedy show. I can't believe it's him who does that. It's brilliant. So how did the only thing which sometimes irks or hurts me a little bit is just seeing in those clips how close Megatron and Optimus Prime, and I haven't really seen scenes like that ever as a Transformers fan because I haven't read all the comics. How does that play out? Not in terms of giving away spoilers, but do they make them really, really close friends at the start? Right at the start?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Megatron's more mature motivations for being evil historically have been political, and no movie studio wants to touch a political story. So they've really leaned into two friends disagreeing on something. I mean, I've never heard of Brian Tyree before, but he did a really good job because I think his journey from being D16 to Megatron is a more dramatic journey. He's got more to work with than Chris Hemsworth does.
Yeah.
And he really does it really well.
Yeah, I think all the voice actors done well, and I think that's one thing I've disliked about looking at a lot of the reviews. Is it's almost like the people writing reviews, they're the ones that are getting political, like they're trying to shove stuff in there because they're always doing sort of one-upmanship against the different voice actors against each other, and that type of reviews that they're writing. The ones who have done negative reviews, where the positive people, it's always about what they've brought and what they thought was great, instead of trying to build someone up at the expense of someone else, which you see in negative reviews, which is a very bad form of writing. Which like IGN's a good example of that, unless they're going to sue us. It's Randy that said that, not me. But yeah.
Where the film's marketing has been successful is they've had all those actors front and center talking about their roles, talking about the story, getting on really well on camera, and that comes off in the film. And they're representing the film in microcosm there just by being so friendly with each other.
And out there. I mean, me and Andy watched the live stream of a fucking satellite thing going up to space for an hour just to what
launch.
Yeah, and
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I think everyone else, like actors, voice, everyone else seems to have been put so much in. I think the marketing could have done something else. They could have. I just don't know.
I mean, Steve Buscemi was I'd forgotten that they'd announced that he was going to be in the cast. So when he actually showed up in the film, I was like, oh my God, that's Steve Buscemi. It's just a shame he's not in it more.
It's just what's going to be hard as well is if they do a sequel, like it's going to be what are they going to call it? Transformers something? I don't know.
Transformers 1-2.
maybe Transformers.
And there are after credit scenes, so you have to stay till the end of the credits.
Oh yes.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like all professional moviegoers know that stuff by now.
Yeah, but it makes you stay for really shit films and think, oh, just check to see if there's an alternate ending. Oh no, there's not. Thanks for wasting my life. Yeah, fuck you, shit film. Let's go round. I want to hear where you'd rank it in terms of the Transformers films we've had so far. So if it's your third favorite film, say what the top 3 are, and also a score out of 10. A score out of 10 for it. What would you give it? So we'll start off with our guests. So Spider-Father.
Well, Transformers movie 1986 at the very top.
Yep.
Then I'd say TF1, and then for me, Bumblebee movie.
Oh, cool. Andy,
respectable.
It's in the top 2. The 86 movie's got the nostalgia, so that's why it's always going to be number 1. But as a film, it's just TF1 is excellent. I'll give it 9, but that's only because Transformers the movie I can't give it the same score, so I'll give it 9.5 maybe. Maybe 9 3/4, but bloody good.
Bloody good, Jamie.
Right,
brilliant. Why does he keep disappearing? He says he keeps getting cut off.
Yeah.
Well, keep going.
He's really mean. So for me, I'll go next. So I can't rate it, but I will put the Studio 86 movie at the top. Then probably really liked Rise of the Beasts, and that would be my second one. And then the first Transformers film, Bayverse film, and then I'll have a fourth. I'll go for Bumblebee. Jamie.
Right. So I would basically say that the top one is the Transformers animated 1986 movie, which is just I think most people here can almost quote the entire movie, perhaps with problems from the scenes, but we do it. So it'll be interesting to see in future generations if we can do it with Transformers 1, because that'll be a true test. I think Transformers 1 will suffer because it won't have the DVD market and the Blu-ray market. Maybe it'll probably be streaming. So I think it's not going to get the same money unless something else happens, which I don't know about, unless they do come out with DVDs. If they do, I know the Transformer fandom will buy up the DVDs. You know, so I hope there's a Blu-ray box set or something like that, physical copy to protect it. Literally. Second choice would be the Rebirth movie. I know it was part 1, part 2, and part 3, but it came out as a movie for the people in the UK. That's the way we saw it, as a box set. I would pick Rebirth just because that's nostalgia laden. You know, I'm a prisoner to nostalgia. I can't help it. That's there. But Transformers 1 would be almost kicking the crap out of Rebirth, and the Rebirth's holding on for dear life, you know, because I think Transformer 1 was that great. And then obviously I actually kind of like Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. I don't know, both. See, I think because I thought Rise of the Beast was going to be so awful, and it turned out to be really good. Well, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it in the cinema, and I was just surprised. And so I put Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast as like a joint fourth. I think people who maybe don't like Rise of the Beast maybe need to watch it again, maybe with a drink, be a bit more merry. But yes, Transformer 1, I think like everyone here, you could easily say it could go to top spot as well. You could easily say that, you know, you might not live long, but you could easily say that, yeah. It's a good
that was
movie.
great.
Is that a threat?
No.
We're live on YouTube.
Let me rephrase that.
You might not live long.
You might be very mistaken, which could lead to unfortunate accidents. I don't know.
If you're not dying, what's great about this is the halo effect you get. And we remembered it when we got the Bayverse films. The halo effect it has throughout the fandom, where it just more people get into it. You get new generations coming into it. So the more successful it is, the better it is for all of us. Right, let's move on to pickups then.
We now return to the Transformers.
Captain Andy, did you get a Transformer?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I filled a couple of holes, and I also got some Transformers. I wanted a purple version of Megatron that didn't have all the gunk on it, and they were selling these at Bargain Max or something like that for about 20 quid, and I thought, go on, I'm going to get one of them. I haven't actually opened it yet because it only arrived just today. And then I went for something out of left field. I was having this discussion with someone online about, like, I think Jamie had that realization the other week about, like, that Trigger cartoon thing, the fact that there's so many different series in that maybe you don't know about and you kind of want to find out because they look so cool and I thought to yourself, there was something I've always kind of looked at and thought that still looks kind of cool, even though it's not my normal stuff. So I was really going to wind Pete up with this, but he's not here. But I got the Transmetal 2 Beast Wars type Megatron thing.
It's an ecstatically brilliant figure.
Well, this is the thing. I've heard good things, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get it because I really like Tiger Hawk, and I've got the Transmetal Tarantulas, the original one, and I thought, let's try it. A lot of people have told me it's a great bot, so I wanted to try it out.
And it's almost like he gave him a shaggable physique, but a very small polio arm, which I don't really understand. But apart from that dragon mode is bliss.
That's not a sentence I thought you were going to be saying tonight, but I appreciate that. And then I got one other thing.
Not use wankable or masturbate anymore. I have moved on.
I mean, you just said it there, but okay. Then I got one other thing. Claire was shopping with Emily, and they spotted this and decided that because I'm got a Turtles collection now, they bought me a little Leonardo ducky.
Oh,
Turtles packaging. Well, Emily did, and she was very proud of it. So. Leonardo's my favorite
things, isn't it, in the bathtub?
This thing isn't going into that. I don't have a ducky in the bathtub. Oh, I might now, though. Actually, you've said it. But no, it was a very nice present. It's nice that you've ruined a children's present there, Jamie. That was a really nice touch. Classy is how I describe it. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, that's it. That's me.
Cool, bro. Lee, did you pick anything up this week?
A few things. So I've only chosen a couple of items, or we'll be all night. So I got the chair, the single throne, which I've already got 2 purple versions of.
It's not life size, so I feel missile.
No, it's not life size yet, but give it time. I got the single most accurate Earthrise Starscream toy, the one that actually looks like Starscream from the show and isn't just a repaint of somebody else.
Masterpiece.
Give it a few years and that probably will be.
Downscaling.
I got the Super Starscream repaint of Voyager Armada Starscream.
Nice.
Which is really nice. I do love the colours on Not Thundercracker. And I haven't got him here, but he comes with some blast effects. So you can recreate his death in the series. Spoilers.
Hooray!
Then I got several of this, which is the Gamers Edition Decepticon Trooper from War for Cybertron. And there's the vehicle mode, because I've got several of them. It's a very kibbly figure. Most of the alt mode folds up onto the legs. And it is just a big block of grey plastic with some paint on it. So does anyone remember when The Last Knight came out? They used to do those grey Optimus Primes, and they called them Silver Knight Optimus Prime.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that's essentially what this is. There's a little bit of paint on it. It is mostly a block of grey plastic.
But was it based off the Barricade mold, or is it a completely different
it's a new mold.
Yeah, good. Because that was crap.
It's fine. I bought it 4 times, so it can't be that bad. So yeah, and I got that big Takara TF1 Optimus Prime this week. If you've seen it, that's a really nice figure. It's like that Optimus Primal they did for Rise of the Beasts, where it was just like its own thing, like an old Ultra class size toy filled with gimmicks. So that's really good. If you just want to get one Optimus Prime, that's probably the one you should get.
Is that the one with the swappable face?
Yeah. His head pops up, you swivel it, and you pop it down again.
Cool. I think we showed that on the show just last week, and you got it.
Sure, we did. Cool. Anything else by far?
Plenty, but like I say, you want to be done by 10, don't you?
How did you get your name?
I'd actually like you to show stuff. Yeah.
How did I get Spider Father? Well, my favorite Transformer was Soundwave, but my friend Alec is way more committed to Soundwave than I am. He's like got one of those collections which is just Soundwave. So I thought, well, I'm not going to go that way. I really like Tarantulas though. And then Sins of the Wreckers came out, and there you've got Tarantulas being a dad. And I thought, I could be Spider Father because I want to look after the community and also be super intense about it that I like.
That's the best reason I've ever heard for a name.
Yeah, I probably should have chosen the name Dickhead then, but oh well.
Don't worry, Jamie. That's what everybody calls
you
you
guys
anyway.
laughing at.
Rise of the Beast,
245.
the 86 movie, Transformers 1, and the reason why you had the name for Spider Father in that order. Brilliant. Jamie, what did you get this week?
So I because I watched Peter's wonderful review of the Grimlock, I just like the idea of the big box actually for so little bit of pounds or pennies. So
How much?
I got this. It was 19 quid.
Oh,
and I think they've got the other ones in sale from $14.99 and actually a couple of people bought this, you know, for my post. So Comic and Cocktails, I'm available as an influencer.
Did you say 19?
Yeah, £19 for this.
These things were going for like 70 quid when they first came out.
It's actually quite cool. I quite liked it, and obviously what I really liked about it is it's a massive, huge box, you know, which is
massive,
you know, and it's like, yeah, and it looks quite cool, and I like the idea of the accessories and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's quite cool, and I think if you're a fan of Grimlock, this is a must buy. So get to the Comic and Cocktails website now, because I don't think that deal's going to last for long. And if you're waiting for £2 to drop off the price before you budge, fuck off. See, it's like, get a fucking life, you stupid genitalia. So I also got this big boy, which was a bit upsetting for me because I went, oh my god, more money coming in my account. I didn't realize. I'm really ecstatic. I haven't got to play with him yet. There's been a lot of stuff going on recently, you know, busy. But hopefully I'll get a good play with this guy. He's pretty damn awesome. Also, just show you some more photos. There's my cat. My cat decided to come in there and mess up all my photo, but I was in such a rush I couldn't take it again. That's my cat Pippa. Yes, I'm messing up the box, everything in my camera. There's Grimlock. It gives you a little readout as well, which I quite liked. In there's the cardboard box. I worked on this photo. I actually worked on that the prior weekend because this day today is like 40 years since Transformers Marvel UK comic came out. So to me, this is a big event because it was for us kids, especially up in Scotland where we had disastrous TV, we never really got to see the cartoon. So although the cartoon was launched, what our first introduction to Transformers was through the medium of reading the comics and these wonderful stories written by Bob Badansky and Simon Foreman and many others. You know, and the wonderful myriad of different artists who made our dreams come true and gave us a whole entire universe, you know, for 25p, which I think was the first price for the first issue it came out. So yes, a wonderful memories of 40 years back. So I'd done this as like a little homage. So you got, well, I guess you guys could guess what story this is from.
Target 2006.
Yes, Target 2006. And I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't feel like I could do it justice. Not saying I'm doing it justice now. I just didn't know how to do rain effects and stuff like that. As a person, I'm going to show in socials later, but someone gave me some tips and stuff and some sources to use, so I used that to help me do this photo. And there it is, your Target 2006. And
nice.
And you know, and I think that's the Galvatron for many people in the United Kingdom or the UK. That's what we would say is our Galvatron from the Transformers Marvel UK comics, those colours. And it is like without all the effects of rain and stuff at the original photo. So there it is there back again. But I really enjoyed it. It's sort of bringing me back, you know. I think when you think about it, it's just like Target 2006, Time Wars, etc. I also got the chair, as I said, disappointed it's not life size, but you know, thank you, In-Demand Toys. I think you should just be a little bit more descriptive. I also picked up a blockies from In-Demand Toys, the classical one. So it's a little bit more in depth when it comes to the model making. So I shall be spending Saturday putting that together. But I'm looking forward to seeing what all this stuff is about, basically, because I'm a big fan of Blockies, as I have been for such a long time.
Since the start, Jimmy.
I know, since the start. I know. I was making up poetry about Blockies. I loved them that much. I also got this, which Spider-Father's got, the Blue Starscream.
I love how the box is based on the old Takara Superlink boxes.
Yes, and I love the figure is actually good. That's even better, because I've only transformed it. I had to check with the face, got magnifying glass out, shining the bright light. Everything is good old Takara. It's nice to see you back in the game after that stupid Space Bridge set. Yeah, so well done, Takara. And I also picked up 2 of these bad boys, because obviously my Studio Series blaster is going to have whatever they're fucking called in both of his hands. Yeah, so yes, that was my humble pickups for the week.
Well, Jamie, thank you. For me, do you mind if I just share a pickup that I got about 4 weeks ago? And it's not because I don't have any pickups this week. It's just Wheeljack. I just can't get over this guy. He's sat by my bed now for 4 weeks. He's looked after me and my wife as we sleep. He's got this bit which you can keep the gun in its alt mode. The gun's safe. It's there. I just really love him. I'm falling a little bit in love with him. I think he's Studio Series. I don't know. I think he's Studio Series. He must be Studio Series.
I think that is because the regular one doesn't look like a Volkswagen, so they'd have to pay him.
Ah, right. No, it makes me want to get the rest. Some of them I don't think have come out yet, which is weird. There's the Wheeljack.
Most of them are out.
Is it Wheeljack?
Wheeljack, RC, Rhinox, Optimus Prime, or Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Mirage. Yeah, I think they've all come out as Studio
Mirage?
Yeah.
Every time I've looked for it, it's only been on like China as a pre-release for like £80.
Oh, I've got Mirage.
But I haven't looked for a couple of months ago.
I don't think it's been in normal like Smith's retail, has it? I think
no,
In Demand and Kapow and places got it in, but I don't think it's ever, just appeared in.
I haven't got him, Vaj. And I actually kind of wanted him.
Yeah, I did.
Waited. Yeah,
I'm waiting for them to release that clear blue version that was a magazine giveaway, because you could get it either as a single thing or get 4, so you could recreate the hologram scene.
Yeah,
but I don't think anyone's got that yet.
Well, that's what I didn't get this week. So let's move on to foreplay.
Lynn, these are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is DEFCON 1. Look. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
Right. With the 40th anniversary of the Marvel UK comics, one of the biggest parts of our childhood, we're going to celebrate that tonight with a discussion and a foreplay on it. And starting off with the foreplay is your favorite character from the Marvel UK comics. So feel free to get involved in the chat and let us know who your favorite character was. A special extra points if you can choose a character which did not look anything like the toy or anything like any of the movies as well. Galvatron. So who would like to go first? Should we start off with you, Jamie? You're normally
yes. I actually, I can't go first. It would have to be Spider-Father.
Oh, okay, go on, Spider-Father.
I did pick Galvatron.
You did. In the colours. Is that New Age?
It is. This is the New Age one. I do love comic cover colours Galvatron, because Galvatron was such an important character for the UK stories. The fact that he was so immensely powerful, and that he was an actual real threat to anyone who came in contact with him. And he put so many Transformers out of action. He murdered several before he was taken out by a
murdered is such a strong word in this day and age. We released
from their earthly prison.
yeah, he crushed a guy's head in front of his twin brother. I mean,
strong words.
And yeah, I just think it was really cool. I mean, when you saw that he was going to show up in a story, he had that whole rivalry with Ultra Magnus, which never actually got resolved until they did Regeneration 1, which kind of ignored all of the UK stories and just went with the American continuity. And then the whole thing with Target 2006, Time Wars, and then when Simon Furman took over the American comic from Bob Budiansky, his go-to villain was Galvatron. So he brought in a different Galvatron from a different timeline to come and be the antagonist for when Unicron showed up. And I just have really fond memories. In fact, I liked Galvatron so much as a kid. I got my first ever job at 6 years old to be able to go and buy one as a choir boy for the local church. 50p a wedding, 50p a Sunday service. Because I was just desperate to get a Galvatron. So that's got to be who it is for me. And I think every Galvatron that we've had since hasn't been able to live up to that kind of depiction. Not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that this is the best one. The Marvel UK Galvatron is the best Galvatron.
Yeah, I can go there.
Sorry, I got stuck in my computer. Not like Tron, like just like literally I was tapping
wait,
between
you got stuck in your computer. What the hell are you doing?
Computer. I'm not playing Tron. I just was downloading a picture for my go. Jamie, go on then.
Yeah. So if you could share the screen, my picture, my one I was going to pick was Galvatron as well, and Lee said it to me this morning, and I died inside, but I thought, it's a great choice, and it's pretty much for what Lee said. I think what I loved about the Galvatron was the way he almost instantly evolved between issues, because originally it was very much like based on the toy, and then obviously the movie came out and they managed to update what he would look like, but they kept the toy colors. But they had this sort of idea of what the movie Galvatron would be like, the cannon being attached to the arm like Megatron, which I think was quite an artistic decision because it meant they had much more flexibility when it came to the poses and what they could do. And the Galvatron, he had a human face. In fact, his whole body became very organic, the way he was drawn, the way he could move. There was so much energy. If you look into the panels of Target 2006 and obviously Time Wars, or when Galvatron encountered the Seacons, or even in the annual when he was fighting Ultra Magnus, this was a very organic, modern looking Transformer. Because when you look at the original Transformers, the idea was originally they didn't transform. Then they had to they changed their bodies to allow themselves to transform in the Marvel continuity UK comics. And and Cybertron was like the size of I think Saturn. It was a big, huge, massive planet. And so they were always evolving, and you had the combiner teams and that. So when you got to the time of Unicron and you got Galvatron and his henchmen, you got this very sort of organic, shiny, more shiny than ever type of Transformers. They look new, they look powerful, because they were new. They weren't 4 million year old rust buckets. They were literally the new models, and they were just brilliant. And the colors, to me, this is the Galvatron colors, and you just can't argue against that. And there's Hot Rod and Warren Cup again, who looked like modern, updated versions. But yes, just fantastic, figures. And I think when I think of Galvatron, I think of Marvel UK. I think of this Galvatron in these colors, and I was delighted to get the Selects version. And I hope when they do a new Galvatron upgraded size, but we also get a Selects version of that, this time with obviously a silver painted mantle. I would say, though, as an honorary mention, we need this freaking Megatron out. This is the Megatron we need, and the Megatron we deserve.
New Age will sort you out. Honestly, I reckon that I'd be flabbergasted if they didn't.
Yeah, this is the Megatron of my dreams. We need them.
He appeared somewhere else, Gold. I'm sure he did. He wasn't just in the annual.
There's
in the
very... I've been doing some research into why Megatron is gold, and it's quite an interesting story because it goes back to even adverts for pre-Transformers Megatron appearing in random magazines somewhere. He's still gold because there was always a theory that people just drew him that way because they took a photograph and something was reflecting on it, on the toy, so that's just the color they used. But no, it was gold for back to 1982, 1983. It's really interesting if you're such a pedant on Transformers details as I am.
When was the Golden Gun release? James Bond.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Wasn't it 70s?
Oh, it could be that. Follow the lead, Spider Father. Whilst you follow the lead, I'll do mine. So, when I think to my quintessential character from the Marvel comics, it has to be for me Impactor. So, I was just a bit sad, like the whole storyline in general, and these characters who I had no idea who they were. They came in, they weren't Optimus Prime, they weren't Bumblebee, they didn't turn into a bloody toy or something or a car. Or, they turned into like, in fact, in these scenes, you didn't even know what they turned into, and I think that was part of it. When you looked at them, you thought, "What does that? Is that some sort of tank or something it transforms into?" I'm not sure you ever got to see that, and that was a bit of the mystery of the Marvel UK extra characters we had. Now, so this is when I started growing up a little bit. I started liking it. I started putting down my He-Man comics. I think the 86 movie became a little bit more real to me because it had like characters dying in it, which you generally didn't see unless you watched Watership Down. And through this comic, it then led to like scenes like this with Impactor coming back as a fucking zombie and getting killed as well by that weird I can't remember his name, that weird creature transformer who's got the sniper rifle. It was the zombie one which really got me into it. The fact that you could see his rib cages and stuff, it really scared me as a kid. And that's what got me onto things like 2000 AD, like almost like a horror type thing of looking at the future. So that was all down to the Marvel UK comics, and it was all down to Impactor. That was my choice. Who would like to go next?
That's actually a good choice.
I think there's only me left.
Oh, so, you can go next then.
I'll do a little bit of presenting, if that's all right. And there he is. So, other choices have been excellent, but I've gone for this was a real test because it was between two. There are two characters from the Marvel UK comics that Simon Furman and the artists who drew them managed to take from being toys that really weren't very good to being some of the most sought after toys, certainly now, that you can even get. And I decided to go with Thunderwing because I loved the depiction of Thunderwing in the Marvel UK comics. He was badass, and the look of the figure, we discussed this during the week, like characters that looked like great in the comic and kind of sold the toy. This sold the toy because I remember Thunderwing being a bit of a shelf warmer. Nobody was really buying it, and then obviously the comic books come out with this fantastic story, and all of a sudden they're gone. And he in the comic books looks absolutely epic. So the Matrix Quest is where this is from. Those of you who know the old comic book stories, I just loved him. I love the fact that he wanted the Matrix, that he was willing to go through anything to get it. I love this scene. There's a bit where he has a battle with the classic Pretenders and he fights against Grimlock when Grimlock punches him. And then he says, as you can see, interesting, I almost felt that. And you just see Grimlock suddenly looking and doubting himself. He was just badass. And it kind of has made him into a character. It's one of those characters we don't get enough toys of, certainly not in mainline. I know there's been a third-party version that seems to be quite well thought of. But
I've got that. It's huge. It's like this big and it's full of die-cast. It's
yeah. I think RJ's got it as well. And it's just, he was an epic character. To sell what was, if we're going to be honest, not a great toy. I mean, it's fun enough, and I love it, but I can see why they kind of really fleshed him out in the comic books, and they gave him this great character and this great story. And they made him look good. The artists, Jeff Senior in particular was, still is my favorite Transformers artist, although there's so many good ones, it's really hard to choose. I mean, Jack Lawrence is fantastic, who we had on the show. You've got Nick Roach. There's so many fantastic artists, but back in the 80s, it was the Jeff Senior stuff that if I saw it in the UK comic, I knew it was going to be good. This picture, unfortunately, is tiny, but I'm going to show it anyway because I couldn't find a bigger version of it. The reason I'm showing this is I want that cannon. If there's a third-party company that could do that cannon for a Thunderwing character, I would buy it in a heartbeat, because that cannon, I was gutted when the toy doesn't actually come with. I know it comes with a couple of decent sized guns, but that kind of quadruple barreled cannon that he carried in, and I forget the name of the story. It's the one with Nightbeat.
The Big Shutdown.
Thank you very much. In that story, it was to me, it was iconic. I just loved the look of it. And
I mean, it's one of the few cases of a comic character getting a signature weapon from the comic,
which you didn't have with the toy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if I got the toy before he appeared in the comic or not, or if I saw him in the comic and then got the toy. But I'm just the same as you. Got him, and he didn't have that big 4-barrel cannon that he was always drawn with.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has it there in that slightly smaller version of it, but it is the same.
It's amazing. We've got all those characters as Chugs now, as toys.
Well, we got Chug Thunderwing, but we've had that one for quite a while. He's not been
the small one.
We should have had when we had was it Titan's Return Sky Shadow, the Black Shadow that we got. That was, I think, renamed as Sky Shadow. I mean, it would have been so easy to turn that into a Thunderwing, but I don't know why. We'd have to ask the lads at Hasbro why. Is there a reason why we're not getting him a new version? Because I would absolutely buy that thing in a heartbeat if we got one. So yeah, my choice, and it could have been Bludgeon, because Bludgeon was the other one I was considering. Again, the work of Simon Furman and the other artists who made Bludgeon into this incredible samurai kind of character, and fantastic. But Thunderwing's
didn't come with the weapon that the comic gave him, which was the sword. All of the Year 2 Decepticon Pretenders had like close combat weapons that they didn't actually have as a toy.
Yeah. Oh, you can get the little third-party versions, can't you? Like, little
Stranglehold. My Stranglehold's got a animated swoop mace, because that's perfect.
That would work. Yeah, that would work.
Is it Octopunch needs a trident, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Octopunch, you can get a trident, and there was one I was watching on eBay once that somebody was selling a little kit that came with the trident. So you can get these things, but we need a new Thunderwing toy. It needs to be a decent size, not a deluxe, because the deluxe toy's great.
Yeah, Commander class with
a
core class in a robot, make it a proper pretender.
Yeah,
that's the gimmick, and they
in a robot
like the original toy did.
There was people who I've seen online before who hadn't at one point realised that he had they thought that the Thunderwing shell was just Thunderwing, and of course, I think he only emerged from his shell once in the comic.
Yeah, there's two panels shutdown of him coming out of his shell, and then there's a view from behind his head as he watches Nightbeat and Hosehead drive away.
Yeah,
and it was just as lethal outside the shell, wasn't it? That was the thing. There was surprise.
Yeah, my choice would be Thunderwing. It's just I loved his character, and I'd love to see us get a new version of the toy. And you know what? If a third-party company does a decent one that would scale pretty much with my Chug stuff, I would buy it.
It's not going to happen, though, is it? Third party always let us down.
Right, just 2 sections left then, and we'll come back to the Marvel UK comic when we discuss our favourite storylines and our memories of it as a kid. But before we do that, we've got the socials, and as always, the socials triggers a copyright warning because of the way we set it up, so we have to choose a different intro. So hopefully one which will allow me to go to the toilet. So this is the intro for the socials tonight. Your hair's gone. Arify's got his hair.
What's an Arifier?
It's still some of his finest work. Yeah. It cracks me up every time.
So looking at socials, just showing some pictures here of David Cousins' artwork, and just because it's a post there, but I just wanted to show the 4 pictures, which are just brilliant.
David
was selling, wasn't it, at TFN?
Really talented. He redesigned my social avatar, so the white looking, not tarantulas, but very much looks like him. That was a character we designed together. And then he's done me loads of stuff for when I eventually get onto YouTube with my own channel. He's done me loads of artwork that I'll be using on that as well.
Yeah, he's exceptionally talented, brilliant artist, and yes,
Really nice guy as well.
I love that. Well, I haven't slept with him, but yeah, he's I don't know.
I don't think you need to
but
sleep with someone. I think you need to explain it already.
Your opening offer's a bit high, Jamie. Come down.
Yeah, I think it's a litmus test, personally. I got you.
We should just point out, if people aren't aware, that I think David Cousins is on tomorrow night's Arrowfire live stream as a guest. So it could be really interesting to actually watch that and see what he brings to the table.
So there it is there. Happy Transformers Day, everyone. Here's too many more years of this madness.
I'll point out his favourite Transformer is Nor. That's why he's got so many Nors in his work.
Is it actual Nor, or is it Sharkticons? Or
Well,
does he actually
loves the
say
Sharkticon design, and if you're going to have one, it's always Nor. If you got more than one, then it's Sharkticons.
Then we've got this Scottish photographer, Fuziki. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Trouble is, when you're on Twitter, it gets so difficult. But he's exceptional. Every photo he does is always, and it's the amount of content he produces. It's like every day, sometimes 1 or 2 photos or 3, and I just love him. I just love the colors, and he's such a friendly guy. One of the good toy photographers to ever hit up. If you want to have some advice and stuff, he will give you information on the camera he uses, what he does, and how he produces these photos. Brilliant. And then, of course, you start the round of the people who started to go to watch Transformers 1, the third best Transformers movie in history so far. Joint second, maybe, with Rebirth. But yes, there they are there. A motley crew of very brilliant, handsome, ecstatic individuals, gorgeous individuals as well. There's our own virtual Dave being it looks like he's sneaky, he's about to run off there. Yeah, everyone's just having a blast, good times. Then we've got Dave Wallace, who had Blockies, one of my favorite Transformers, Blockies, doing YMCA, about to do YMCA. They're just not quite got it there, but you can almost imagine them doing YMCA. Some awesome artwork there. To Eternity, brilliant. Mo band, yeah, awesome. There's some more stuff from Mo. Good walking Optimus Prime. They are a double hit there of some more Optimus Prime and Megatron, and then from excellent artist Andrew E. Griffin posed the same actor in 2 different photos to show the range. But yeah, that sort of made me chuckle.
Laughing Prime is disturbing.
It is, isn't it?
Disturbing. It's something about it.
It looks like he's got an axe with dripping with blood, and he's just
it's like the orcish face. Anyway,
it's like the American Psycho Optimus Prime.
Yeah. And then you've got, talking about cycles, you've got Plastic Crack here, Northerner, a picture there of what is Transbots. Yes,
he needs to. I know he did tag his brother actually. He pointed that out. Sorry.
But anyone who's into toy photography, obviously you've got Liam and Sixo, exceptionally good toy photographers, and you've got Maz and stuff like that out there, and obviously some of the people we've seen tonight. But look up Toy Pics, toy photography, and the reason I say this, he's always posting stuff. But if you go to his Patreon, he'll have like free stuff like scenes, special effects you can use. It'll have brief descriptions on how to use it, which is quite good, especially if you don't have a clue what to do. So that's great. And he's a very chattable individual, so it's easy to ask him questions if you need to. But basically, have a good look at his account, maybe look at his Patreon, see some of the free stuff there, and give it a good read. Read all this stuff before you really start to ask questions, But yes, that's a good account to, I think, follow, especially if you're getting into toy photography. Yeah. Jason Wanger there with his Sentinel Prime, the yellow piss-coloured one. He's quite ecstatic, and he's obviously got, I think, the missing like Optimus Prime as well. I like this photo. do you know, that's the thing about Twitter. It just doesn't seem to show you a lot of the stuff that's out there. And I just happened to get this. And obviously Twitter made it disappear within 2 seconds from my timeline. But lucky enough, I caught the sign of the person that did it. So I was able to search for it. And I just like it when you see the sort of like the 1986 cast assembled, no matter how they're displayed. I just think it's always brilliant to watch them.
It's always enjoyed to see a photo of multiple figures just standing there without having to have anything to prop them up so they don't lean forward or backwards.
Yeah. And there we've got some sexy Retgar photos there. It doesn't get you excited. Talking about sexy, Chris McFeely, fan of the show, I guess of the show, managed to, iced by James Roberts in Belfast. Dave Wallace doing another post, Optimus Prime pictures where you can hear the sound. A double header there again from Sixo, talking about the new toys he was going to review. But Matt Ferguson just being happy, and that guy deserves it. His artwork is brilliant. I've got, I think I've got 2 of his posters now on my wall. Toy Fu talking about Transformers Marvel UK comic, at least 40 years to this day. Some pictures from Crimson, a nice account, but he's always just getting his toys out and putting them in dynamic poses and taking a quick snap, which is always cool to do. A picture from Matt Ferguson, that excellent Transformers 1 poster, which I think is going up for sale. We are getting no commission in this, so our comments are virtuous. Graham from the TF UK Guide. If you ever look at the TF UK Guide, a good Twitter account to follow, and maybe sign up to his Patreon and that to get the TF UK Guide, because it's exceptional quality work.
Lovely guy as well.
And look at this. Look at that. He gets if you sign up, you get A to Z profiles for Transformers that never got A to Z profiles. This is volume 2, and this is packed full of Marvel UK characters. It is so good.
Awesome.
I mean, Impact is not in this one, but I think it was in the first one. So all of your favourites. I heartily recommend signing up for the TF UK Guide.
Graham's lovely as well. He's the first person I ever spoke to at my first TFN that I didn't know. And he invited me over to come and sit at the table with him and his friends to look at the bots they had and stuff. Just a really nice guy and loves Transformers.
He's always so nice in Twitter as well.
Oh, it's nice everywhere.
Yeah.
I met him in 2001 because he invited me round to his flat to watch this new Transformer show that he got imported from Japan, and it was Car Robots. RID 2001, and he was showing me his collection, which he's since sold, and I was just like, oh my god, I've never seen these toys before. I've seen pictures, but here they are in front of me. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. And really nice guy. And this is me. And I think we can all identify with this character when it comes to Transformer buying. You know, we are partners trying to tame us, and we're like, no. We've all got that inner hippo, baby hippo, which wants to come out.
It looks terrified.
Mooding.
I'm not sure what that mood's supposed to be. Anyway.
You've got to see this video on live. It's the most hyperactive little hippo I've ever seen.
Oh, right.
And there's some very fine-looking gentlemen. Notice me being benevolent here. Fine-looking gentlemen. Going to watch the third best Transformers.
I love the fact that I abandoned my children to go and sit and talk to people. Yeah. My son Lucas kept turning around and looking at me. When are you coming back to sit with us? Just 5 minutes.
Did you check your mobile phone?
Just to be clear, in case social services are watching, they were literally just sat in the row right in front.
Yeah,
of
you've seen that now. He was looking for Amber Alerts.
I have photographic evidence. I'm fine. Police can't touch me.
Oh, Amber Alerts is okay. So when it comes to red alert, do I need to worry?
I like it,
Virtual Dave, there are some photos of his ecstatic journey, and Skywarp, who's getting exceptionally much better with his little photos. So we might need
Steve from Stevenage.
So yeah, some
world famous Steve from Stevenage.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's wrap it up then with a discussion.
We now return to the Transformers.
So obviously the comic played a massive part in all our lives growing up outside of that film. So just take us through what it meant for you, your favourite storylines. This is the Marvel UK comic, which celebrates its 40th year this year. So it must have come out when I was 1, 2, we must have all been like 40 years. I'm 42, so it came out when I was 2. Is that right?
I think I was 5.
Yeah, I was 5. Yeah, 5. So I must be the same
okay.
age as you, Lee. How old were you, Jamie?
26.
Yes. But I'm like any elf.
You are. Right.
Help.
I'll do my go first. So this comic was absolutely a huge part of my life, the whole life. And I used to reread the comics, and you'd put them away. And when you talk about nostalgia, I think my first nostalgia was for this comics. I'm talking about nostalgia of being like 10 years old and going, "Oh, Mum, can I read those comics I read when I was like 8 or 7?" and going through them again. And then 13, 14, and then like you move out and you keep them with you, and you look at them when you're 17, 18, 19. It was just like the absolute. The covers on some of them made you want to read them so much just to understand. And I won't go into specific storylines. Obviously, Time Wars was amazing, one of my favorite ones. But they just you saw it and you just wanted to understand what was happening, what was this about. Why was there a Galvatron with his mouth opening up on fire like Proud was? They were all absolutely fantastic, all the way up to the G2 ones. Like this image, that's brilliant comic art, isn't it? Like that.
That's
for
one
me,
of Graham's commissions of what the front pages of comics would have been if they carried on past when it was cancelled.
Cool. So that's not a proper one from the G2 era.
No.
Oh,
No.
It's based off what they would have looked like. But
Yeah.
It's a modern piece of art to represent it.
It was all stuff like this, like Ratchet getting confused and melded with Megatron, just like
That was horrific.
Do any of you listen to Simon Furman and
the
rest is giant robots?
Yeah.
He was talking about this on the most recent.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody else listens to it as well. Yeah, that's good.
Well, do you remember the sticker sheet that came with that? But it was almost like as if you're taking photographs inside a booth. So you got to see each frame. It came with
inside a booth. Sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Do you know the old camera books? You used to go in there and you take.
Yeah. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
They had that for this monstrosity.
He said he was obsessed with Cronenberg's films and stuff like that. You know, that kind of body horror film, and that's where he got the idea. And it was horrific. I can vividly remember seeing that and being like, "Holy shit, what's that?"
Except you'd never get that, would you? In like He-Man or anything else I read.
No.
It kind of lit something up in the boyhood of me. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
This was when he was in the US, so we in the UK would have been used to this sort of thing because, like Paul said, there was a lot of body horror. But this would have been probably the first time that American Transformers readers had seen anything like that.
Cool. Then this one I pulled out. I just thought that looked so cool. Like the Seekers, to me, I loved how uniformed they were, and they were so disparate on the cartoon. But when you got them here on the cover, they just looked like 3 soldiers in different rankings pointing at Optimus Prime, and the diversity of the different artists that they used was amazing. We've seen that one, and just finally, just little snippets. I don't know who the artist was for that, but you can see.
It looks like Jeff Senior.
I was going to say that definitely looks like Jeff Senior's artwork.
And it sounds harsh, but like I don't think when I moved on to sort of 2018, I looked back at the drawings on the Marvel UK comics. I didn't think they stacked up. I thought I moved up a pace when you move on to 2018. The artist was so much more amazing. It was only when I sort of came back to it, I saw what I recognised. A lot of the stuff that I loved. I think Mike Hannon, which is one of the later 2018 artists, you can see how much he's drawn from this sort of artistry of just Jeff Senior with heavy black outlines and strong rectangles and stuff. But you can see the relationship when you look at the images together when you collect those comics, and it's only looking back you can see so much movement in some of these clips. So for me, it was the storylines were amazing. Can I remember them all? I can't remember. They didn't all stick into my head. Some of them did. Can I remember the art, like the things like Impactor and that those front covers? They have stuck with me throughout my whole life and changed it, because that's what got me onto 2000D. That's what got me into sci-fi. It's what made me a massive geek. And that's what makes me do a 8 o'clock show every Friday night about robots. And I wouldn't change anything for that. Who would like to go next? Jamie, I've seen you got some pictures stored up.
Yes. I think when it comes to Transformers, this is the reason I think I really got into toy photography, was because I was always trying to recreate the scenes or the classic comic covers first and the comic panels. Basically, my adult version of playing with my toys, and it was with that, with my mobile phone. I think Samsung S10, and I remember when I even making that sort of like diorama, just getting a tray, getting some fake snow which I got from Amazon, mixing it in, shoving my Fortress Maximus there, getting the photo, having 20 minutes to do the photo, because obviously I was doing it inside the office. And I'm, believe it or not, guys, I'm not a thin individual, so it's quite cramped in here quite quickly, and you're trying to go back as much as you can with the camera, and I've only got 20 minutes because the show's going to start in about 10 to 8, so and I have to get everything dismantled and stuff and get ready for the show and stuff. So you didn't get much of a chance like I do now, where I've got a set room now when I do my toy photography, But yes, I just love the comic covers. I love the comic panels, and that was the thing about Transformers comic. And even with the new one now, is once you finish reading it, you'd go back and just admire the artwork, see if you could pick up on something you hadn't noticed, and it just sticks with you. And I think I think everyone who's collected Transformer Marvel UK comics will recognize that scene. It just sort of sticks in your head, and that, Predacons and this, when the Dinobots didn't get their asses kicked with Shockwave, and then the Ark. And it was just good fun. And I mean, I remember doing this one and not having a clue about scale and what proportions I should use and how I should use it for social media. So the scales and everything I used were the worst type I could have ever imagined if I wanted to post it into social media. But I was just having fun. And I remember when I got my Mastermind Creations Death's Head, the original Death's Head, before the people got the new fancy Marvel one now, which we've all got. I just love it. And doing some of the Beast Wars stuff as well, IDW. But then I think I remember doing this with Toy Box Soapbox when it was coming on, and I was determined to try to do my best, because obviously Toy Box Soapbox is like one of the people I really looked up to, a real sort of like hero of mine, and the way he did chug figures and stuff. But I always remember that for Time Wars, the Twins of Evil.
Thank God those jump starters were Type Masters. You didn't have to make anything.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing when you look at the Marvel UK comics, it's like everyone talks about Transformers the movie sometimes, the animation 1986 being a bit bad because so many died quickly. But in Transformers the comic, there was a constant role change because characters were offlined. Not sure if they would come back. And so, in the American comics, they did disappear for quite a while. But the UK comics, we're so lucky because we had a myriad of different stories coming in there. Lots of characters like Paul we talked about, like Impactor, which the Americans weren't getting to see. Grimlock was intelligent, where the American version Grimlock, they were still dumbing down his speech to match the cartoon. And
there's a duality there, isn't there?
I love my American brothers and cousins. And especially China, who produced wonderful blockies. But yes, I mean, I love the fact that we would change our characters as well, to suit the stories or to suit what had gone before. And yeah, I mean, I think that's anyone reading the Marvel UK comics, we were privileged.
Great.
Definitely.
It was a magical time. Andy, take us through your memories of just the show.
I was going to say just generally, because that's going to go back a while. It's interesting because I love looking at Jamie's photos of the covers and the recreations that he's done, because the covers of the comic book were often the things that I stuck in my memory, a bit like you said as well, Paul. I absolutely just loved them. I loved the artwork, and I can just vividly remember going up with my dad, every fortnight, when he went to get his papers on a Saturday, and my local newsagent would have my copy of this ready for me. This front cover is burned into my subconscious. I absolutely adore it. And I can't remember who it was. Somebody, it wasn't you, was it, Jay? Somebody did a recreation of this not that long ago. Was it you?
Arrowfire did it.
Oh, it was Arrowfire. That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
And it was, just immediately you see it and it just like sets off the brain. And you're like, oh my God. I remember it all. And the heartbreaking thing for me is when I was, it must have been when I was at uni, my mum and dad had a clear out, and I had every single issue of the comic that I'd ever bought or had bought for me. All of them stored in a wardrobe. And my mum and dad were clearing out the wardrobe, and they'd rang me at uni and said, what do you want to do with all these old comics? And in my short-sightedness and stupidity and probably drunk, I said, oh, you can just give them to a charity shop or something, which it's still to this day. I just want to go back in time and punch myself in the face. I just wish I'd held on to them because I even then I was a collector. But all of these covers and the different artists, and breaking your heart to see that they only cost 30p. I know it was November 1986, but still. And many of these covers are the ones that Jamie has also obviously recreated, some of them as well. The Predacons, I can remember them being introduced to it and them being the double agents working for Shockwave.
That's the amazing thing with the UK is when the Americans got one comic cover for a story, we got two, sometimes three, thrice.
That one will look very familiar, Jamie. That's the one you did a very good job of recreating as well.
With my man Galvatron.
Yeah, it is the Galvatron. If you're a UK comic fan, you grew up on that. I know there's people who were able to watch a lot more of the G1 cartoon, but it was usually on Sky. My family didn't have Sky. Not many of my mates' families had Sky, so didn't really get to see the cartoon other than the first season that was shown just through like Whack-A-Day or whatever it was. But yeah, everything. Time. Yeah, if that, and then if you missed one, you were buggered. You just like, what happened? The worst one to miss was on a Friday when you wanted to see the conclusion of the cartoon. If you missed that one, oh, it's a nightmare. But anyway, and it was everything about the G1 comic. It was you're looking up in the top corner where they had the price and everything. You'd have the different pictures at different points. The fact that they had the free gifts, the headmaster competition. I remember all of it so vividly. I was chatting with somebody just recently about this cover. And I was explaining it. Oh, yeah, there's the cover where Ultra Magnus, he's basically in like gladiatorial type fights. And I can't remember the reason behind it. I want to say it's because he was undercover kind of trying to find some criminal or Decepticon or whatever it was. And the person who I was talking to, I can't remember who it was, they didn't remember this at all. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll show you the picture sometime. Well, there it is. So whoever it was, I apologize for not remembering who it was. I'm sure it was a drunken conversation at TFN, but that's the picture I was referring to at the time. And just all of it. I remember getting that issue and seeing the cover and thinking, Jesus Christ, does Galvatron actually win here? Does he kill him?
Is everyone dead?
Yeah. Oh, that's an abrupt ending. All of it, because the covers were very clever at making you intrigued as to what was going to happen. This with if Galvatron dies, we all die, and you wanted to. Well, hang on, why? Then of course.
Yeah. Do you think it's the reason we liked Rodimus Prime a lot as well? Because there's a lot of good stories with Rodimus Prime.
He was better written, far better written than in the cartoon, and he was a much more likable character than he was in the cartoon. I remember the Christmas issues with the wraparound covers and having a look and trying to spot like that one, which was obviously 89, so quite late on, but you try and spot what you can see. Now you see Darkwing and Dreadwing.
Do you know, I was looking at this photo today, and that just reminded me of how lucky we are to have an artist like Jack Lawrence who kind of has that style and brings alive to people like, because you think about Dreadwing and Darkwing, if I said the names right.
Darkwing and Dreadwing. I always get confused with them.
The expression the artist managed to use for their faceplates was brilliant, and I think that's what Jack Lawrence reminds me of now.
Yeah, Jack was
such a clever, clever cover as well, because Bumblebee's playing with himself. And
Bumblebee.
That Micromaster, whose name I can't remember, I want to say something like Swindler, is well, I don't know what he's doing with the angel from the top of the Christmas tree, but probably best we don't ask questions.
Gareth was saying, and they're kind of like, if you stay on that picture, they're kind of like celebrity like parts of the Marvel UK thing, which is like Dreadwing was Dread Tidings, wasn't it? And Grim.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Grimgrams.
It's interesting you mentioned Dread Tidings because that might be coming up as well.
That was
this cover,
beyond its time.
I mean, that's just
insane,
beautiful
that
artwork.
picture.
That's just
Absolutely
absolutely
insane.
beautiful artwork. 1991 as well.
That artist is a time traveler. I swear to fucking God, a time traveler. He's came from the future, came back, drew that bit of artwork because the original artwork must have been pish. And he must have been a fan, maybe watching the show, and thought, I have to go back. And invented a time machine, did physics, whatever. Went back, learned how to draw, and drew that piece of art.
He's got a mouth. Has he got a mouth?
Who? Prime? No,
Yeah.
it's just like an indentation in the metal, but yeah, it kind of looks like he does, doesn't it? And then just stuff like this, just the references. You know, what other comics were referencing Tacitus to not Tacitus or however you pronounce it to
Another
kill
time
him at that
traveler
time.
artwork, I would argue.
Just
But yeah.
amazing. And then obviously some of the art. The comic book is why Power Master Optimus Prime, that and the fact I had it, was my favorite version of Optimus Prime. I love the stories that involved him.
Yeah, me too.
And Power Masters, because I love the Power Masters, Darkwing and Dreadwind. I love the stories they were in. I love the fact that they generally got beaten up, and they were just a comedy duo almost in the end. Just constantly just seemed to get beaten up, destroyed. And this issue, if you haven't read this issue, find a copy and have a read.
Oh,
it,
it's hilarious.
because they are literally pissed in McAdams, and basically there's this whole thing going on around them, and they're so drunk they don't even notice. It's brilliant. It's genius writing and fantastic artwork. But
Gav
yeah.
Morton's saying that his letter was in I Beat Them All issue. It's the first letter. A few people said, I'm sure Ed said one of his letters, Bumble Jumper 87, 78, 24, said that his letter was in there as well.
Do you know what? I never got a letter printed, but my son Liam, when the movies first started coming out, we had that new comic that came out then, and they had like that kind of letters page. The first letter he'd ever sent off to a comic, and him and the photo that we'd sent with it as well got printed in it. I've still got it away somewhere. And like he got it first time, so I was ecstatic for him. But there was a little part of me that was like, mother trucker. How many times did I try and get in the G1 comic? Never got anywhere near, but never mind.
Can you share this, Paul?
Yeah, of course.
So I was like having a bit of a recap, but I've been going through the Transformers and Marvel UK comics, and it was quite interesting when you start reading them again, and you think it's a lot of stuff you take for granted, and then you think, oh my, you know, like for example, the Transformer race not actually being able to transform, and it was kind of like the cartoon when they had the slave rebellion against the Quintessons. You know, the Decepticons were the first ones to modify their bodies into being able to transform, and then the Autobots followed suit, and then obviously. You know, and I think about Cybertron, there was always a question about what the size of Cybertron is. So obviously we don't know what it is now. There's a lot of discussions there. But at the time, originally, you know, Bob Berdansky had imagined it being the size of Saturn. So it's a hell of a massive planet because, like, Earth could probably fit in Saturn like 48 times or something like that. So it's a massive, humongous sort of world. But just going to quickly go through these comics and, you know, just brilliant what we got. You know, when Spider-Man was starring in there, it's just, and there was like one of the very first, I think, real British stories, and it was based in Britain as well.
The Man of Iron one, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see that the art is really based off the toys as well.
Totally. But even then, you just think, these guys are breaking ground. So I start to go through some of this stuff, but it's just to see how things evolved into their Megatron, Golden Megatron, which we all love and we must have. Yes, Shockwave's iconic there. But the amount of death that was going on, or offline, as they like to refer to it, they didn't really die, they just were getting offline. You know, we need a Gladiator toy. We definitely need that.
Well, the Guardian. The Dinobot hunt stories as well, when they were trying to track them all down.
Oh yes, and that was exceptional because we really went into detail on why the Dinobots went off the rockers as well.
Well, Simon Furman was saying that they were able to do all that in the UK comic because basically the American comic just wasn't particularly bothered about the Dinobots, and if it was a character that they weren't bothered about in the UK, they could do what they wanted with the stories. So that's why we got a hell of a lot more of the Dinobots, really. through the UK comics.
Well, yeah,
They
the Americans barely got the movie bots at all. That's why we've got
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many stories
Yeah.
involving time travel.
Exactly.
And they are, I mean, I guess you could kind of argue about the Constructicons being the first Earth bots, and I know a lot of people think of Dinobots being the first Earth bots because of the cartoon, but Jetfire was the first real Earth bot because he was an automaton originally, transforming automaton, but then given a solo search for the equation matrix on Earth. So first real Earthborn transformer, and there's no ifs and buts, he was. Not the space scientist story he was given in the cartoon. He wasn't taking a disc from the storage, which Optimus Prime had done for the other Transformers, which he brought in the later stories to explain how they can come up with new Transformers suddenly would appear because there were disc storage and a floppy disk probably. But yes, you just look at the artwork; it just caught your imagination. There was a dino thing, you know, and my good friend Andy was referring to.
Oh, that one with Sludge and Grimlock fighting, and it's the toys. That is the toys, and it's just you saw that, and if you had the toys, it was like, hell yes, I know what I'm recreating.
But I mean, they obviously decided we're not sure if Transformers should have teeth. I think they went with teeth later, and I think they came with a good choice. There's no reason for them to have teeth, but yes, teeth
Black
just
helmet
shows
as well.
that balance. Yeah, we needed this guy. We needed this guy.
Were you getting the comic book then, Lee, from the beginning, or did you come in partway through, or how did it work out for you?
I was lucky enough to get it from the beginning.
No, sorry. Well, I was asking Lee, but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
no, it's all
Lee,
right.
sorry.
But that's good.
No.
So you got it from issue
I
number
wondered
1 as
why
well.
I said my name's not Lee.
If only there was somebody called Lee on the show.
I was like, Spider Father, Mel is Shade, fucking different monikers.
I mean, I pre-issue 100. No, I just sort of got the odd issue. I've still got all my original issues in a box somewhere. But from issue 100, I was getting it every week when it was weekly, because it went bi-weekly at some point. And the newsagent was just around the corner from our house. And every Saturday morning, I'd go to my mum and say, can I have my 35p or whatever it was? And I'd run round to the corner as soon as it opened at 9 o'clock, run back with my comic. It would have my mum's name written on the top. And when you're a kid, time stretches, because time seems to go a lot slower when you're a child, because it's between Christmases. Christmas takes forever to come. And Transformers, the comic, was pretty much there for the entirety of mine and anyone who was a child at that point's childhood. Because other comics that were out at the time, things like Ghostbusters, Thundercats, Mask, Air Raiders, all that sort of thing, they were lesser quality. They were like one-shots all the time. They didn't last as long. Was it 5-6 years that the G1 Marvel Transformers comic was going in this country? That's an eternity for a 5-year-old going into a 10-year-old. That's pretty much all of your life as far as you can remember it. And it never talked down. Never talked down.
First issue was 84, wasn't it? And then they were still doing issues in 91. So that's what, 7 years that we did it?
That's a huge chunk of
mad.
time.
Absolutely,
like your entire life. And it never talked down to you. The other comics, they were very cliched, that you could tell exactly where the stories were going. They'd be wrapped up by the end of it. But Transformers, because it was going for so long and they had these interconnected continuity and all this stuff was happening to all these characters, and it was character driven. It wasn't just obviously it was Toy of the Week, but you had characters from 1984 who were still in it in 1991, even though their toy had been discontinued 3 or 4 years earlier. And it's just a really important part of my childhood. I think it's a really important part of anyone who was a Transformers fan back then. And because it has so much influence even today, where you've got our comic book creators, our TV show creators, our movie creators who are citing that as an inspiration. And Simon Furman, Andrew Wildman, Jeff Senior, all of these people still being cited as inspiration, still coming to the conventions because we still want to see them. We still want to talk to them and hear their stories. So I wouldn't be without it.
I mean, that's the one thing I worry about now is because everything is internet based and it's very regional, like everything seems to be get done from America's lens. But then I love the fact that IDW has so much British talent, because I start to worry when we've lost that localization, we've lost that mobility movement of people in different countries like Italy, Germany, Britain, India, you name it, Brazil, being able to move forward in the local comic industries who would be, farmed out from Marvel or DC or the comic industry there. But
I think we've got a lot of talented fans, particularly artists who are constantly putting stuff out there, and they are getting seen by the professionals, and they're being given the odd cover. I mean, David's a professional. David Cousins is a professional. He's doing covers for all sorts of comics. But then you've got just random people just doing the odd cover for a comic. And you go, oh, I know them. They're just a guy who draws, but well done for them for getting their work done.
I must be exceptional.
You are.
I think he said that must be exceptional, but I did think he said for a second, I must be exceptional.
No.
I instantly thought you said that. Should we finish up with a couple of questions for Spider Father, his channel? So you were recently at, you've been to most things I've been to. So you were at TFM. We had an amazing time. It was such a general laugh. I dyed my beard. I'm proud to say it. I'm a beard dyer. I noticed that other hosts on Transformers show started dyeing their beards, and I thought I'm just gonna mainly Andy.
Hosts. There's no dye in this thing.
Ian,
I wish there was.
But also, it was just awesome hanging out with you. What were your highlights from TFN this year? Because you've done this for a couple of years now, haven't you? All the way back to.
It took me a long time to get back into conventions, because I think I went to Transforce 2000, I went to Transforce 2001, which were some of the very first UK conventions. And then I let my anxiety get the better of me, and I sort of just dropped out of the community altogether, because I was on the forums that we had back then. And it was years later when I went to TF Nation. It might have been 2 years ago. I was talking to Nick, because I asked Nick for a commission. He goes, Metashade, I haven't seen you in years. I remember you from when we were on the forums. I was like, fucking hell, I can't remember that. Must have made an impression. But yeah, just my anxiety. I didn't want to go.
Pictures came in useful. Yeah.
I didn't want to go somewhere where I didn't really know anyone. But then post COVID, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the plunge. And the moment I walked through the door, there were people like, oh, hi, come and sit with us. Like we always say, when you do your pre-TFM videos, there's always going to be someone there you can talk to. And ever since, it's been one of the highlights of the year. I just want to go back. I want to see the people. I want to interact with everyone. And although I love the dealer hall, and if you've seen my pictures of my halls, you know I love dealer.
I liked it that you had your final hall as well, and then another hall turned up afterwards.
You're almost my nemesis in many respects, actually. I think.
But it's just meeting people, and because you don't see most people throughout the year. I was lucky because going to TF UK Con in May, where I got to see you for the first time, Paul. That was fun. That was a good show. Yeah. And again, seeing people, meeting new people. But yeah, it's like the highlight of my calendar now. My life is that empty.
I honestly thought
you dig. It's just good now we're old and we get to do something funny and have drinks. It's not like being when you're young and I guess what you say about social anxiety, I see that a lot like in your younger years, don't you? Certainly once you understand.
Couldn't give a fuck. People know.
Yeah.
People know who I am. I can't escape if I do something. I just have to own it.
I honestly thought when I first met you, you remind me very much of Graham. I think you both had a very pleasant nature online, and I think that's something that shines through, because in Transformers the show, I've seen the Twitter community being very, very, the way they used to turn and be vicious, and it's changed now. And I think the Facebook forums have got better, and I think Instagram and even TFW I think there's a new calm. It's been in for a good 3 or 4 years. I mean, obviously there's still some eruptions, but it's not like it used to be. You know, it dies down quick, and I think it's because there's a lot of good temperamental people in that. But I used to think, you know, when I met you when I used to interact with you online, I just thought this is a really sound individual, nice sort of calm individual. And I thought, Christ, don't say something stupid or offensive, Jamie. And of course, I can't help myself because I've got a Transformers this year. But you know, I just thought, yeah, a really nice bloke. So I was really pleased to meet you on numerous occasions now.
Well, the world at the minute is really shitty for a lot of people. And as a minority myself that is persecuted by an awful lot of assholes on the internet, it's really easy to let that drag you down. So why not just be kind to people? Why not just be nice to people and try and make their day a little bit better just by being there and know it being a safe space for somebody?
You'd have been an okay Spartan, though, because there was homosexuality by law, and you're 6'4" or something, aren't you?
I think I would have had to do a lot of investigation into that.
Also, if for anyone who doesn't know, Spider Father collects GoBots.
I do. And Dino Riders.
Dino Riders are good.
I like GoBots and Dino Riders.
Yeah,
You've just
Dino
broken
Riders.
Jamie's brain. What you like GoBots and Dino Riders?
They're good. I know.
Yeah, like I say, when I eventually get onto YouTube with my own channel, I'm going to be pushing everybody else, having like a little community corner, highlighting somebody I saw or chatted to during the week, or if someone's got a Patreon or something going on. I want to highlight that, and I want to push that for other people as well, because it is a big ego trip having a channel of your own. So to try and balance that out in the whole spiritual way of the universe, you got to push other people, otherwise you just come across as a bit of a dick.
Being a serious question there, because I didn't mean to be little, but I know when Jack Lawrence talked about his,
He thought I was American.
You know, yeah. Do you feel like the community is better now for you as an individual, or would you say there's still so much to go now, or is it because you're just older now you can deal with it better?
Well, I think as you get older, you tend to give less of a fuck what other people think. That helps. I think we are really fortunate in the UK, particularly, that we have a lot of really nice people in the community, a lot of centered, sensible, decent people in the community who are willing to be open to people coming in, new people. It's very easy in a lot of fandoms where you get people our age who are just like, our version's right, our version's correct, every other version's crap. Why is this new version of something awful?
Just don't say anything, Jamie. It's fine.
Whereas we're always excited. We're always excited when there's a new version of Transformers coming out, and every new version of Transformers is going to bring new people into it. We're used to Transformers changing. Other franchises, you look at He-Man. He-Man's going through it now, like 40 years too late, really. There's different versions of He-Man that are trying to bring in different people, and the He-Man community is been a bit resistant to it. Or you look at Thundercats. Thundercats, people complaining about that Thundercats Roar or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at all of the Thundercats fans compared to all the Transformers fans, and we'll see which version is better. You have to change. You have to evolve. The kids of today are nothing like the kids of the 80s where we grew up. I mean, we didn't have the internet, so we'd reread our comics over and over and over again. Whereas now, if a kid wants to get into Transformers, they can stream it. They can find downloaded copies of the comics. They can go onto social media and talk to anybody. It's constant. It's right there for them.
I just feel like we almost lost Transformers when, and this is probably why there was some negativity towards the Bayverse, because when Beast Wars come out, like
I thought Beast Wars was shit when I first saw it.
I know, I get that. But we were growing up, and you saw the page on the Argos catalog get smaller and smaller with Transformers. It turned into Beast Wars, got a little bit bigger, then it contracted again, Beast Machines, until it disappeared, until like the dark, murky, like late 90s.
No wonder section.
And that was it. And it, kind of our Transformers, whether they were, they lived with us, but they died in terms of commercial opportunity. And when Bayverse came out, it wasn't our Transformers at all.
I think
they reignited it and rebirthed it, and we got everything back, and it was kind of cool. But we weren't used to having something new come in and reignite that. And I think this is the thing with Transformers 1 and almost maybe Bumblebee, not because that's still Bayverse-y, but if Transformers 1 is a success, then it's kind of like we've had a Bayverse injection and we've had then the Transformers 1 injection, and then you're getting to sort of like almost like James Bond, Star Wars, Star Trek sort of levels where you have got an IP which can live beyond generations, beyond the years. And that's why it's exciting for us now, because Bayverse wasn't exciting. We loved it. It was brilliant. It wasn't quite, and it sort of died a bit. If Transformers 1 carries on the way people were talking about it, it could be like that. It could cement Transformers now forever.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember what Transformers was like in the mid 2000s, for the fandom, it was great because it was still riding that wave of nostalgia for the things in the 80s that was quite big in that era. But as far as kids were going, it was all right. They were. It was keeping its head above water. But you're right. When the Bayverse movies came in, it exploded and it brought Transformers back to the mainstream, and suddenly everyone was aware of it again. And that was the foundation that everything else was able to build on top of.
Because I remember being at meals, someone would go, "This is my theory of Transformers across the dinner table." They'd go, "I think they're organic, and I go, "Oh, my dear fool," and there's people would come up with who had obviously not read the comics or been brought into it, but it had become mainstream. There was people discussing it, which I just thought was an amazing thing. Before that just happened.
Transformers is unique in that it is the only boys property from the 80s that has been consistently active since the 80s to the present day. Nothing else has managed to produce as much media.
Len had a Power Master Optimus Prime who had lunch with Barbie numerous occasions.
Well, there you are. But nothing else has managed to maintain that longevity. And I don't see it ever going away completely. But if it could just quiet down a little bit so that us completionists could just take a breath.
Get the last couple of ones. Listen, thanks so much, Lee and Spider-Valve, for coming on tonight. And thanks to my co-hosts. That was a really good show. I really enjoyed that. We covered a lot tonight. Head to Transformers the show on Facebook if you want to join in. I think we've got a group approaching almost 1,000 members now, which is amazing. Lots of chats. There's Discord. There's everything. Get all the details there. And Spider-Father, where do they find you on YouTube?
I'm not revealing that just yet.
Oh, please, come on.
I'm on Instagram as Spider-Father96. I'm actually paying proper attention to Instagram now. So Spider-Father96. You can find me on Twitter at Mellowshade, or one word, where I constantly post pictures of toys and just talk about stuff.
Oh, brilliant. You've been an amazing guest, and thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you
that's it. We will see you next Friday if you care to join us again.
One question, though.
Go on then.
Andy, do you dye your beard? Is it just coal? Is it like
it's coal? I don't dye my beard, unlike some people on this show. Jamie.
And
anyway,
because of my natural blonde, I have to.
Do you remember that time you came on with the week before you had a grey beard? You came on with a black beard.
No,
we said, "Have you dyed it?" And you went, "No."
That was 2 weeks ago.
I haven't.
2 weeks ago, actually.
2 weeks ago. It was months
last
week.
It was
like 2 years ago.
Exactly. He denied it. Whereas Paul's just like, "I dye my beard."
Yeah,
man. Sorry.
Yeah. No, cool. Right. Listen, thanks for watching the show. See you next week.